Welcome back to the Chillin the Party Podcast. I'm your host, Clarkson Reck, and today we're here with another episode of Party Invite. And unlike normal, we have two guests instead of one. It's a twofer. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. We have Malcolm and Nathan from the AARPG Podcast. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks
for
having us.
Confetti and fireworks. You know, we got our budget back. We can do that now.
Yep. Yeah. It's the 15th. We got firework money.
Yes.
Glad to have y'all.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on your show. This is loved having you on our show. I don't even know how long ago that was, but that was a fun conversation.
I think it had to be like close to 2 years ago. Because
was it?
I think it was
crazy.
When I was looking at it, I was like, that was like 2 years ago or something like that. I was like, man, where the heck was that? I was like,
flies.
oh, yeah, I know.
Time definitely flies.
Still no Terry here. What the hell?
Oh, man. Listen.
I can't even speak to that. I just like, after I've been listening, I'm like, it's okay. I love him, but you know.
He is such a, I mean, if you wanted to start this like maybe 2 hours in the future, I could get Terry, because Terry can't show up to recordings on time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we know about that.
Yeah.
We know all
up.
about that.
Yeah.
Working that night shift, and he gets off and back home around 12, and it's like, oh, okay. Hey, everybody, let's be friends still. Sad life. We want Terry here too.
That
all
sucks.
want
That
Terry.
sucks, Terry.
We do. Well, you know what? We'll figure something out.
Very true.
We'll figure something out. Just we'll have Terry on your show. Just have the mute button on standby, and it'll be fine.
So
on your show,
we don't need a mute button.
Well, I know we should use one, but
wait a minute. Hold on.
Recording.
See, now that reminds me of the blooper. Like, oh yeah, eat and partake of this is my body, this and that, where he spits out the
exactly. Like, we have a mute button. You cut home like there's a mute button, Nathan.
I control it though. So.
Yeah, I think we'd have to be a little bit faster with that.
Nah, that one absolutely. I'm so glad y'all recorded that moment, because there's no way that somebody's like, oh yeah, he said what? Eat what? Terry moment. We love it. We love it.
That's what the clips are for.
Yeah.
That's what those are the out of context ones. Those are the good ones.
Exactly. The exact wording is, oh, it's going to be taken out of context. Nope, we're recording. It was a great time, man.
Good job.
It's the best. It's the best. There's so many times when I'm editing one of these. Well, not these, especially for D&D and then the gaming podcast. If we record them after a certain hour, just 30% of it is just unusable. I don't know what it is about recording after 8 p.m. that people just lose all sense of what should go on the internet. But
for us, it's the comedy juice.
Yeah, that you guys.
I can tell by the head shake.
We know.
What did you just say?
And you know, Malcolm's pretty good in the recordings, but when we get together
live, I'm not. Live. I need to be just.
Especially when he's running, it's like he's like the first 2 hours of him running is entirely poetic, and then like it just starts to get a little weirder and just a little slurry.
Spiral starts, and it's not very pretty.
Anyway, I'm Nathan from the Advanced Age Role-Playing Gamers Podcast, and I am one of the hosts, one of the many hosts, and the main editor and audio guy. And Malcolm, you should probably.
I'm Malcolm from the AARPG Podcast. I am one of the cast. I'm often one of the GMs for a lot of our games, and the sensible one.
Everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, if
Favorite.
if there were like 5 of us offering to run a game, and Malcolm says he wants to run something, everyone goes, "Okay, Malcolm runs."
I wish this had been a new thing, but
no, it's been like for like 30 plus years.
30 plus years of this, yeah. It's like, oh, well, Malcolm's running a game. I'm like, okay, here we go. And I wish I didn't have an addiction to running a game, so I could just say no, but I do love to do it, so I end up running a lot of games.
I'm that guy for us. It's just once the idea is there, I'm just like, okay, like I don't want to run a game, but as soon as I'm asked, I'm just like, well, I did have this one idea,
and I wanted to see the light. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're gonna come run the game for us, this and that. Yep.
Yeah.
All the different systems too.
Yeah.
It's fun. I love trying. Malcolm and I both love trying new systems.
Yeah, I like the idea of just seeing how different people interpret either the same idea or bringing new things to a particular concept or particular genre. So, like, I mean, I'm looking around, I'm like, I've got like Monster of the Week, Ironforge, Starforge, Dragonbane, Lancer, whatever. Well, that's
I
Blade
just got
Runner.
this week, Father Fog.
What the heck is Father Fog?
It's from the Mothership people. So it's
okay. I guess we're trying that at some point.
Fairy tales are real.
Well, I mean, I was like, I'm doing. I'm running that now. Shadow Dark. That's what I'm running for the local group.
Oh yeah, got that.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of, but you just sort of bounce. I mean, basically, what's so funny is that you can find systems that do the right thing, like you guys did with like Kids on Bikes.
Yes.
I haven't tried that yet, and I want to because I got the Savage World version of it, which was Pine Box, Texas middle school, which is pretty much the same thing, Kids on Bikes for Savage World. And I was thinking about getting Kids on Bikes, but my other friend said, well, just do it in Savage World because we like Savage World. I'm like, fine, I'll just do that in Savage World. But I heard that's a good system.
I prefer Kids on Bikes for a lot of my more grounded horror stories. It's really good for like slashers, ghost stories, or maybe if you want to do like a kind of like murder mystery thriller, it's pretty good for that. Just because it grounds the characters, like it's so much in reality, but you still get like a little bit of wiggle room because it's still gamified. That it really lends itself to like kind of like a Monster of the Week type story. I really like it. It's quickly became like my go-to system whenever I can't like force a D&D story into what I want to do.
Yeah, and then I think I definitely would have tried because I mean like Monster of the Week is very much you're pretty much doing some version of Buffy the Vampire Hunter, like all the very upper level kind of crazy supernatural stuff in that game. It's a lot of fun, but that's what it's for. And as far as like the Kids on Bikes that they have, I mean Kids on Bikes, but the Savage World thing, I still think that's more closer to this Stranger Things kind of fantastical than it is the very
that's what I've
horror.
heard.
Because I mean like for those kind of games you were talking about, I probably use the horror supplement, which is much more grounded, has a lot more visceral feels to your character and so forth. But the bet for me always for the longest time, my default was GURPS. Because there's so much you're doing as far as building your character that you're really grounding it very effectively in the real world. Most of our horror games back in the I guess in the early 2000s were all on GURPS for me, just because you couldn't get out of it. You basically you build this really deep character, all your little flaws, all your advantages, and your mortality was very apparent always. So I like that.
Yeah, Malcolm has always been our generic system person. There's like not like if you wanted to build a world, Malcolm would build a world with GURPS, whether it's fantasy or superheroes or whatever else. He'd build with GURPS.
Though GURPS sucks at superheroes, you should never.
You tried it though.
It kind of like you end up with a very low powered, but now the low powered invincible. You're not invincible, but everybody's getting bloody and killed every time. And they're like, oh, we have stun rules. Like, everybody's still dying with stun rules. We're just so you got to go to a superhero system that will do better. So,
I haven't found a superhero system that I found a couple that I like, but I haven't found one that I love. Like I've tried Masks, I've tried City of Mist, I've tried like Kids on Bikes had a Kickstarter that was like a quick build guide for kids with capes.
I think I saw that, but I didn't go for it because I didn't get the Kids on Bikes one. But yeah,
I started with Champions.
Champions was our start, and that was that's a crunchy build game.
Yeah,
and the problem is it was also very. I mean, its combat and thing could be really.
Yeah, it's very combat focused.
I would never say no. No.
It was the reason I started with that was I had this one friend that I talked about earlier who introduced me to D&D, but the kid across the street had very religious parents, was not allowed to play.
Not me, but I mean, my parents were too. I'll get to that later.
He was not allowed to play D&D, so I guess we found Champions, and we started playing that. So really, very early on, I was never like a only D&D guy. That seems to be like more of a newer phenomenon, like past 10 years.
I was going to say that. Like, even though we played a lot of long D&D campaigns, it was was never like the only game system. It was like, well, we want to play D&D for D&D, that fantasy game. But, if we wanted to we did a lot of, we had Cyberpunk coming out.
Yeah.
We had, Palladium came out with its own fantasy game, as well as, it's Heroes Unlimited and, Ninjas and Super Spies and Teenage Mutant Turtles. So you had a lot of different games and different game systems and different game worlds. You were constantly being pushed at that time. Because I don't know if it was just like a lot of these bigger companies were trying to compete with D&D or putting anything they could out there. And you had a lot of older companies like Avalon Hill putting any kind of ridiculous thing out there. I'm like, we're going to Boot Hill was a cowboy game where basically you just died. You got shot and died of dysentery. It was like Oregon Trail, but
Oregon Trail.
Literally, I don't know. Why would you want this game? But that was what they had. It was like, it's very realistic. I'm like, I didn't really, wasn't my thing. But yeah,
Top Secret, you died pretty quickly.
Top Secret, you died after doing some stupid James Bond stuff, and you couldn't be really as good as James Bond.
No,
they literally had this agent they would talk about in the margins, like, oh, this guy sounds really cool. You don't have the points to be that guy.
It's like that's
you were a money penny with a gun. It just didn't work. Anyway,
money penny with a gun.
Well, I think recently, like in the whatever D&D hit its big boom, I think it was probably like just before COVID, when it was kind of like this apex of all of these things hitting at the same time. It was like the movie Baldur's Gate, Critical Role had just got their animated series, and then Stranger Things was leaning more into like the D&D part of it.
Yeah, it was very odd that because I had sort of just defaulted to like, oh, if I have, I can do it in GURPS, and I'll have a couple of systems on the outside. And then when I moved to Knoxville, Nathan was like, you should try the 5th edition D&D, because I had given up D&D in 3rd edition. Yeah. I was like, I am tired of this crap. I bought every freaking book for 2nd edition, supplements. I mean, I had literally bookshelves of books for D&D 2nd edition, and I had to get rid of all of it for 3rd edition, and then 3.5. And I was like, no. I played one 4th edition game. I was like, no, hell no. I am not giving them any more.
I've heard that a lot.
And I was like, it was nothing like the game I played when I was young, so I'm not going to get this. So Nathan was like, you got to try it. And so I read it, and I'm like, you know what? This is pretty good. Also, that was the first time I picked up a rule book, looked in there, opened the page, and saw someone who looked like me in that book. That's the thing that shocked the crap out of me. I was like, the fighter, the human. Oh, yeah. Human was a black woman. The fighter was a black man. What the heck is going on here? I was like, well, I might be able to get the D&D. It was just a different way of seeing it, but but it's a good system. I think I did a good job, starting off with it, and I really liked it, and I, ran with it for a while. But
it's definitely become like the Coca-Cola of like the TTRPG space.
And for us, and what's so funny is like for all the years from from 83 on, from 1983 playing games since then, it has always been the Coca-Cola sort of. It's just sometimes they put out new Coke and no one wanted to drink it. But it was looking at Coca-Cola Classic and you come back. But your still was Coke, and it was still out Pepsi. There and still had the power, and you had, you had other groups putting out the Crystal Pepsi stuff. Yeah, so, but the thing is, what I loved is that time period is like you then had it building back up, and like you said, just when just before COVID, you had all the like Critical Role. Literally, when that came on, you couldn't have told me in the previous 20 years that, you're going to watch a show with people playing D&D. I'm like, I ain't going to watch nobody else. I'm fine watching our group. That's enough.
4 hours every Thursday.
Yeah.
You will be here every Thursday.
Yeah,
4 hours is a lot.
It's a lot. And I'm thinking like, people aren't going to sit there and yes, there I was, and I'm like, and it was really good. And it really, I was like, I didn't think I would ever see that amount of people be very, excited about Dungeons and Dragons. And then it was like tick off. And then, COVID, really sort of honed certain parts of it as far as what you could do virtually, because that's one of the biggest things is like, we can't get everybody around this damn table on a scheduled basis. Like I literally have to be I was very draconian with my group. Like, you are going to be, this is the night we're doing it. We're doing it between these hours. If you can't commit, don't waste my time. Because I'm one of those GMs, like, when I run a tabletop game, I'm like, this is not going to be the campaign for the next 3 months. This may be the campaign for the next 2 years. Do not waste my time. I don't say that. I'm very nice. I don't even tell them it's 2 years. It's going to be a while. I like a long campaign. And usually it's not me deciding how really long it will be. It's just how involved the players may be, I think, and you just hope that you can, just keep continuing the story. And sometimes the story goes further than it really should. Mobile suit.
And Clark, if you ever have questions, you can interrupt Malcolm.
Please.
No.
Please do. Interrupt me.
That's why we brought y'all here. That is why we brought y'all here.
I'm messing with them. So,
but there's just a lot of, I think that was a great thing, and it was one thing I can say about it is, was seeing people of color in role-playing games has been for me has been the most sort of amazing thing, because
some of the best ones too. Bria Ironguard, B-Day Walters, Lou Wilson over with Dimension 20, just absolutely killing it every time I see him on screen. It's an absolute joy.
And I'm just like, I mean, for years it was just usually 2 of us in the room, me and Leroy. Occasionally, Kevin would show up, but he was always, he was unpredictable. And Elwood went to play Champions, and his superhero Champions was not. We'd be playing the same game, and nobody played the game like Ray. Goodness, what's his name? Roy King.
Roy
King would run a game of like, it's superheroes. We would make our superheroes, and then he'd make his superhero.
Oh my God.
And we'd be like, okay, I'm going to use my ice power and try and stop this. So, like, I'm going to use a special super attack that does this and does that, and will make you think about next Tuesday. It was like, how are you doing? Like, you just use this point and this power. And we're like, I don't understand what you're doing. And sadly, it's all perfectly legal, but
so
you just took out Dr. Doom, and we were just showing up. We were like, man, it's Tuesday.
If you guys aren't familiar with Champions is a point buy system. You have you have like 400 points to build all your stats and all your powers, but there are all these optional things that you can do to your powers to make them cost less. And then all these enhancements. So there's multipliers and there's a lot of math. So Roy was master at the math of creating these
the most out of
devastating powers that were within the point value that you're allowed to.
Are you going to use it? It's like, I can only use it once. And it's like,
right,
It'll go like a 3-day recharge. I'm like, okay, but I have 17 of these different powers I could use once. And it was like, here's this thing where I can only run while touching I can only fly while touching the surface. So I'm like, that's just, why don't you use speed? No, it's not cost effective. I can just do this.
Oh my gosh. It's not cost effective is the best line ever.
Yeah, he was.
Roy was fun to watch role play his characters too, because he really get into the whole superhero.
He was just fantastic, wonderful. It was awesome. But there was always just so very few people of color that I encountered, at least in the long term. And it was just like for our group, for John, it was just me and Leroy. Well, actually, no. I mean, yeah, that's not true. Marco, Jared.
Marco, Jared.
All the PCs. I'm like, all the POCs. I mean, yeah, we got the Filipinos, and we had all the
you got the Filipinos, you got Panamanians, Asian. So there's more, but
you know,
we had a big group though. There's probably like 30 some odd people. So
because what it did was
the
like
POC was definitely smaller.
I just listen, Wu-Tang Clan for real.
Yeah. So what would happen is like, since it started off as a college club, it was like every time a new class would come in, you just add a new player. And then when they graduate, they'd all stay connected. So we were all like this sort of, everybody was still hanging around and sort of like at least connected in some groups. So you had like a pool of 30 different people that would be out there at different stages in our lives, but you can connect.
Is that how everything started? Is that how you all met, or was it
That's
before
how
college?
AARP started, it wasn't there, but we were all from that's why the old picture is from us from college. That's where we all met there.
I gotta pop that one up on the screen on the edit because it is...
you just said it. You said not to do it before.
Okay, I can do this. Go ahead.
So Matt and I actually met in high school in Peachey County and
Marylander.
Yeah,
that flag in the background. We see
there it is. So Matt and I met in high school, and then we went to community college together at PG Community College, and that's where I met Malcolm and Sean and Tim, and then a couple of guys on the podcast we got from Sean, so they're honorary.
So people like because then we all had our own friends that we all brought, and they have all been sucked in. So it's
but the majority of us are all from this college gaming group, which is the largest club on PGCC campus, much larger than the Republican club, much to the chagrin of chagrin, because they would complain about our noise levels all the time.
We'd make noise just to piss them off. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it was straight out of like an 80s movie where you had like the blonde guy with the blazer and the tie and perfectly coiffed hair and it was like angry and like trying to get us disbanded. It was really
you don't have a sponsor.
Stuff.
Our sponsor's right here.
Yeah.
Full Revenge of the Nerds.
It was so very much like that. I mean, people that's got to be just movie. That's just they think it's movie stuff, but half that stuff was really happening in our lives.
That was real life.
Yeah,
that's real life.
People because the fight was you can cut this out. But basically, as our group. As we had signed in more members, we're allowed to have more space. So we went from a little tiny 10 by 10 cubicle to really probably a quarter of the whole club area because we had this huge club and we'd have games in there. And we had anyway. It was an awesome time. It was a really awesome time.
It was a really awesome gaming time. I think it was. It was
not great for studies, but.
Terrible for studies. So from the timestamp on that picture, which if you don't mind me mentioning, was before I was an idea of being on this planet.
Someone said, you know what? That man don't look so bad.
Yep.
Back in the yesteryears of 1988 until now, all of you have kept this group going since then.
Yeah, in some form or shape. As a matter of fact, it's always been like if we're not doing gaming, we were definitely connected socially. So weddings, birthdays, doing picnics, doing parties together. We did everything. It was so we still kept together as a social group. And then occasionally, if you could commit to a game, we'd do a game. It wouldn't necessarily be all of us, but a part of us. As a matter of fact, even before I moved away from DC, I started I had done a game just for the purpose of sort of getting us all back together, playing in the same night. I called it because that's why Tim's sore about that. Because I was like, Tim, I see you you playing a game with me every week. I don't see these guys ever. So you ain't playing a legacy game. And it was just a matter of and then we would it would be just once a month, and we still making pull it off.
I do mention we've lost a couple of people along the way. Leroy, we lost to cancer in 2018, unfortunately. And so he would have been awesome on the podcast.
Oh, God, I love that.
Imagine. So he was
curious what you're going to say. Go ahead.
he was Batman. He was like a cross between Batman and what's his name from the Matrix.
Morpheus.
Oh, Morpheus.
Morpheus. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was like Morpheus playing Batman sometimes was Leroy.
Yeah.
So it was like almost every character. It was
That's
like,
a strong.
do something different. It was like, well,
character.
He was like the darkest.
I remember actually, I was running a game where you're playing. Everybody's playing mech pilots, and he was like, "Well, I have these ninjas. Ninjas. I didn't have ninjas in the universe, but I had to make up a whole ninja clan and everything else because he wanted to be fighting ninjas in this group because he was so brilliant. I'm like, you're not a disgraced ninja. I mean, you're disgraced samurai. It was just crazy, but he was intense, and I loved it.
He was super intense.
There was just
it was great.
What's the name? Clark, what was the name of that show with like the ninjas and mechs and everything? And we were just like, no, this is not with the
ninjas didn't feature very long in that game.
Ninja Kamui.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh my God! The
fact that you made it work is crazy.
Oh, I didn't. Basically, ninjas were there for like a couple of sessions, and we never saw ninjas again. He resented that. And I was like, well, they couldn't get off planet because we have hyperspace, and they're just way back there.
They're stuck. They're stuck there. Sorry. Oh man,
it's like oil and water. It don't mix. They're not meant to like ninjas and mechs just aren't meant to coexist in the same.
No,
it's never been done
my
well.
characters and Leroy's characters are because I play a clown, like some kind of clown usually, and all Leroy's characters were like super serious. So it was like I loved getting a rise out of him because it was so he reacted.
He was
very well.
It was just
that's what you need.
That was part of it, yeah. But he would have been great on the podcast. I really miss him.
Oh man.
Yeah, we've had a really a really good group, and we like I said, we have people come in and out as far as who can play, but as far as like staying connected, we all try and still do that all the time, and we're really happy when we get people to come who have been, sort of on the edges to come sort of inside. Like right now, we're trying to get one of our friends to eventually. We'll see what John does. Davis, I mean.
Yeah. We're we have this weekend getaway that we've been doing for the past like 11, 12 years.
Well, you've only been doing it for 12 years.
Well, you're right.
But yeah, basically it's just go on.
Yeah. So we rent like a cabin for like a long weekend, and it's just the folks from the past kind of getting together, as many who can show up, and it's usually between like 8 to 11, 12 people, and we just game and eat and drink and commiserate for the whole weekend. It's just great to connect.
Because it's kind of like one of those things that we started off a long time ago randomly. And we used to, like when we were younger, we used to do those marathon games where you're like, okay, we're going to start at 6 and you're not ending until like 12 hours later or something. I can't tell you how many times my dad walked down in the basement and was like, what in the hell are all these white people doing in my basement at 3 in the morning?
Wait, y'all wasn't outside doing bad stuff, so
that's kind of how he just kind of said, okay,
Pacing is a skill. Pacing as a DM is a skill, because in the beginning.
Don't you mention it, Nathan?
No,
okay. Matt's not here to do that. You let Matt mention it.
Okay.
That's Matt's story to tell.
All right, never mind.
See, now I want to know. Listen,
we have so much history. We can like talk for.
It's still his story to tell.
But so Malcolm was always into anime, so we'd end up watching like the Japanese
old
Akira.
Ancient
I watched Akira like in Japanese a dozen times before I ever saw like an English translation. So I saw it in a theater with an English translation. I was like, oh, that's what they say. Oh,
that was the thing. It's like back then you couldn't get dubbed. You were just like, you got these bootleg versions of everything, and it was awesome.
Absolutely.
We don't know we made up everything. but they said just
yeah.
you sort of infer the story. Like I don't know what he's saying, but I'm thinking
there's
is
no
what's happening.
captions or anything. It was just
Yep, that's how I started.
I think
with,
only when they did a translation of the manga in I guess it was a late 90s. They did in color for Akira. It's the only time I really began to get the whole story. I was like, okay. Anyway, sorry.
Didn't matter. Yeah, no. It was, but yeah, like playing Malcolm's Garage, Marvel Superheroes, which is an awesome superhero game, which you can get out there for free.
It's with the old one?
The old one, yeah,
okay.
The original, yeah.
I didn't know that there was an official like Marvel's one.
Yeah, it's a TSR. TSR made it.
It was
so
like
good.
old
It was
TSR.
really-
And you had I remember Shift X and all that stuff, and you had your what was it
Yeah, it's called, they call it Phase Rip, FASE,
I may actually
or
have
FASRIP or something, or FASERIP.
No, that's too much.
But yeah, there's the PDFs are out there. It's all kind of open, whatever.
Open
and
source.
it's a really good superhero game.
It's a very I'm gonna say it's a very interesting superhero game.
Very good.
What makes it
this,
interesting?
What makes it so interesting?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like you have a whole list of powers and have a very interesting way of expressing how they like your powers at excellent or typical or whatever levels, and that sort of determines your success along with your percentage rolls, which is really kind of a very simplified way of doing really fantastic powers. But most of it's relying on you to carry the story, which is good.
Yeah.
It builds a story. It builds storytelling on both the GM and the player's part, like what they're going to do with these powers.
And you can do some really wild stuff with random character generation, which is
that too, and some really. That's how we ended up with. Was that Teddy? Was it Teddy Roosevelt?
No.
Roosevelt.
Was Teddy Roosevelt some other guy? I thought it was that game.
That was Savage. That was at Geek Green. So he did
that was Savage.
Iron Maiden. There's you ever seen the dead undead looking guy on the Iron Maiden T-shirt?
Yep.
So that's Eddie. So Matt made
That's
Eddie from this. He could basically project his fists.
I wouldn't say project. I say he just bit them off and threw them at people.
Yeah. He throws fists at people.
They flew off, but it was.
He's literally throwing hands at people.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
That's but a lot of it was just very standard sort of superhero. But it was a good superhero system for the time. If you didn't want to go with that Champions, it was like that is
spreadsheets.
Jeez.
I think the thing is,
back in the 90s, they were very, very. A lot of people were really into crunchy. Like you need to build out every single part of whatever you're doing, and then
oh man,
and you can tell like, and even if you have a modern game that comes out, you can tell where the writer's role playing background comes from. Like Battle Lords, which is this awesome science fiction space opera game where basically you're like these sort of like mercenaries and with power armors, and you do all these odd jobs and crazy stuff until you become a bigger unit. Crunchy, like you're like picking out every part of your thing, picking every part of your thing. 1,000
That's
of
what
weapons.
made it so intimidating.
And it
for
can
like a lot
be,
of people.
Yeah, that's the thing. It can be very intimidating, but if you really love the detail, it's amazing, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, we ended up playing it, and it was like this wasn't. I mean, once you've built the character and have the equipment, you're done.
Right.
But you've got, but it allows you to say, I want to have the stealth armor with this unit and that thing. They can go underwater. Well, you want to put all that stuff in there, you can do that. They can make it happen for you. Which is great.
Jeez.
I mean, GURPS is one of those systems too. That do you want to build it? Well, you can go ahead and go all that way and build that stuff, but you have to take the time to do it. They do have just baseline stuff you can use, but it's built to be super crunchy. Then you have other systems which are kind of like, you just add this, add that part, you've done, or you don't have to do anything. It's just like, here it is, and it's finished. So I think that the 90s had a lot of crunchiness. Maybe it was even before the 90s. I guess it was late 80s, early 90s. Just crunchy, crazy.
Yeah.
Everything is just crunchy. Build it all. Build it
all. 2020 and Shadowrun was pretty crunchy. So that's a crunchy. Traveler was pretty crunchy.
Traveler, you died during character creation.
This is why you had all nerds playing stuff because
because it was like, I want to have this and this. I mean, Traveler,
it was like homework making
the Traveler system was basically
it's still homework making a character.
It
They
still
still can be homework.
I mean,
It's homework for a different reason now, though, because now it's like,
there's a passion behind it, of course.
yeah, it's like I have an idea of how I want this character to be. How close can I get it with the tools that I have?
Yep.
And then, like, trying to because we're all here in like the actual play. I don't want to say business, but like we're in the actual play, like performing thing. So it's like, how do I tie the narrative into my character? How do I make it make sense for the
Functional.
universe? How do I make it so that this is like the most integrated and the most easiest to pretty much like feel like it's a part of the world? That's where we spend the most of the time when we're making characters now.
Yeah,
How to F with the GM.
and that's
Yeah.
that's unlikely, but that's a thing. I mean, but yeah, that was one of the things that really they try. Sometimes
Hey.
it
Oh, they
succeeds.
try. They try.
And they're always. I have to allow them because it's a thing. But like that's what attracted me to for a long time. A lot of systems was all based on, could I build what I want in this system, the story that I want to tell. Like, do I want to make certain that, for instance, that this whole entire society works and functions this way? They have this attribute or this disadvantage that manifests. Their cars are all organic and are powered by soul engines. Can I do that in this game? Can I make that happen? Can I make it a codified rule so it's basically something that I can rely on as far as being stable each time, kind of thing, kind of something.
He's good. He's gonna pop back in.
Yeah. So I should let you ask some questions or something because I am just I will go.
No, yeah. I don't worry. I'm sneaking the questions in here. But so you guys met in college.
Yeah.
You kept it going. You kept the group going throughout the years. That's the part that's like the goal for a lot of people's friend groups, is being able to continue meeting up, playing games together, staying in touch, and then for you guys to be able to do that for, you were saying, 30 years.
Plus, yeah.
Man,
That's
crazy.
that's the goal for a lot of people's groups, is like, hey, how can we keep this going when
Well,
we're all old and
it's a
when
lot of-
we
it's
can
a lot
all
of-
have all the free time?
Yeah. It's a lot of accommodations at times. Like knowing what you can really do. Like literally there was no way that we could do a weekly game.
Yeah.
Even a monthly game was a very difficult thing to pull off because you have all these
Really?
It was
different things
hard.
pulling you.
Yeah.
So, if we couldn't meet at a game, it was like, at least we got together for a barbecue. At least we got together for that wedding. You'd make certain that you were keeping those social connections. Because then if someone said, you know what, I'm going to have some free time, or this is freed up because, my kids are now going to these 17 clubs, and I have some... I have free time. My wife has said I can have this day. I can do this stuff.
Yeah.
My husband said it's
Yep.
all
Love
right.
that.
Kind of thing. And it aligns. Then you can sort of like lock that in for a little time. And depending on and that's another reason why we switched games a lot. I think also was because we needed to accommodate what we could do in that time period. It's like we can't always do this thing. We can try and do a shorter game or a game that's going to require us that we can just jump into and go. Other times it was like we want to build a longer game. We could do it.
Or the person running it would get have a job change or something, or a life change.
Yep.
And because running more than so
Yep.
who can pick up the mantle and carry it for a little bit longer. So there's definitely a lot of torch passing over years just to keep it going.
Keep it going.
And for us too, like, well, I'm gonna speak for my sake, is like outside of like gaming groups, I really don't have any other like real friends, and it was like it was pretty hard for me to like make friends growing up because I was like super awkward, and like the people like Matt and everybody at PG were like they got me and we built these bonds, and like once I like build those bonds, I never can let you go.
Oh yeah,
That is something
Yeah.
I can say that I did too. I mean, for me, it was like my dad was I was a military brat, so bouncing around. And I was, with him being an officer, from 60s to 70s. I mean, for me, 60s to 70s to 80s. It was very few officers of color, for one thing. So we were always sort of environments that were going to be necessarily, it wasn't going to necessarily have. It was going to be very. I was going to stick out. Let's just say that.
That's
in the peer groups. So that's okay. And so how you sort of meshed, and so you got along. He was like, and I was geeky, and I didn't fit in, and I didn't do a lot of things. So it was like there was yet one of those things that when I eventually found gaming, it was this place where I shined, and everyone was like definitely wanted to be connected with me being a part of it. I remember my first time playing, D&D. I was just kind of like, "Oh, this seems interesting." I thought it was pretty cool, mostly because my mom had no idea what I was doing. she was like very religious, and she's very religious still, but she was like, I don't think she knew about D&D at the time, but she was like, why don't you go play with the kid next door while I talk to his mom so we can just get together, because he's like her neighbor, and I think she's great, and whatever, so she wanted to go, she wanted to hang out with the mom and figure out the lay of the land. She sent her, and like her son, Eric, the geekiest guy, Eric Marler, and he's like, I mean, he was much older. He was older. He's about to, he was in high school, and I was like in middle school. And he's like, "I'll teach you this game." And he came out with this blue box with a dragon on it, and I was like, "This is the most amazing thing in the world." And he had me make up a character. My first character was like Damascus. He was like a dwarf. I don't, thought it was awesome.
Good dwarf
and
name right there.
Sounded, really awesome. Yeah. And then after that, I was kind of hooked, but he ended up being transferred, so they all moved the next couple of months. And I was like, I have no idea what that was. And then, sure enough, luckily enough, like maybe a year, maybe I wouldn't say a year, maybe several months later, another family doesn't move in that house. Another family moves in the house, but not didn't have any kids, but some kids on the road, and maybe they were already there. I have to find out what Mark Graves and Brian were still there. Anyway, they say, we got this game we got to try. I'm like, okay. And it's D&D. But we had the old expert book and the, basic D&D and advanced doesn't. We didn't know how it all went together. We just made it work. And it was like the greatest campaigns ever. Because, anything we couldn't do there, we could just go out in the woods and just whack sticks and get things, and they'll be all fine.
Yes.
And since it was
playing in the woods.
Since it was over, and the thing is, people think, you look at Stranger Things, like, that didn't really, no, we didn't actually run into Demogorg, no, that's the supernatural stuff.
No,
but you just like being gone, it's just like, you're just gone. Like, it was like, you're fine. I mean, we were living on post at that time, so my mom and dad were like, as long as you aren't going over the fence on the perimeter, I guess you'll be okay.
It's 9 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you had to be back in by dark, or somebody's house.
Somebody's.
And that parent had to call, which that always was. They had a network. Like, if you walked in someone's house at dark, they'd be getting on the phone and calling your mom, but he's here.
Please make that phone call.
I just remember being in the woods near my house, and when it was time for my buddy with the religious mom to come in, you just hear, like, in the woods, Eugene. It's like, like, really, she could project. But yeah, she'd just call out the voice, and
I never want my mother to call me. I would be at home.
No, my parents didn't do that to me.
Or I'd be at somebody's house who had a phone, who had my mom's number. And that was it. That worked out. That was great. But yeah.
My dad would whistle. So he would whistle, and it's like, we'd be all the way down the street, we'd hear it. And if we didn't hear it, somebody did, they would come find us like, hey, your dad's whistling. And it's just whistling. Going. You got it.
So it was.
Well, I'll be the young person and say I had a phone.
Boo.
It wasn't touchscreen or anything. I had like a little indestructible Nokia.
A little bar phone.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. I had my little indestructible Nokia. I ran it through the washing machine a couple times. Still worked.
Yeah, they don't build
But that was. that was my thing. Was like, if I miss 2 phone calls, I might as well just start walking home and just start thinking of my excuse on the way back, because it's not going to be good enough.
Yeah, it's never going to be good enough.
Never.
It's never going to be good enough.
Never.
Yeah, so.
Man.
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
So, yeah. I'm sorry.
It's interesting to hear hear you guys talk about D&D the way that you do, where it's like, oh, it's this. It was this thing. It wasn't a very popular thing. It was very crunchy. It was very by the numbers. It was also something that was like, it wasn't as like openly kind of like accepted as it is right now.
Oh no, no.
Because I got into it. It was before the boom. It was like 2 or 3 years before like the whole like Critical Role. It was like Critical Role, Stranger Things, Baldur's Gate boom. I was like maybe 3 or 4 years before that. It was like maybe like a little bit, like a year or 2 before COVID is when I got into D&D, like maybe like 2021, and it was a completely different scenario from yours, Malcolm, because it was a couple guys from work that I had worked with. It was a Friday. We were about to leave. Everybody was talking about what they were going to be doing over the weekend. And they asked me, and they were like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, nothing. I'm probably just going to go home and play Xbox. It's the same group of people I always play Xbox with for like the past like 7 to 8 years, Al being one of them. So I was like, yeah, I'll probably just do that, hang out with the wife. And they were like, well, do you want to like come? They're like, we're going to get pizza, we're going to grab beer, and then we're going to play D&D. I was like, well, I like 2 of those things. I like 2 of those things. We're like, well, it should be fine. And I remember the thing about it is that it was 2 other black dudes and a Filipino dude. And then that was it. So like D&D was never really like, for me, outside of like the whole like stigma of like, oh, it's a bunch of white kids in a basement. Like for me, the first time I played, there wasn't any at all. It was 3 black dudes and a Filipino. So like,
it is a very different, and it's wonderfully different. I mean, character creation alone. I mean, goodness, you start off with I guess, do they even have magic users? Yes, they do have magic users still, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It was called magic user.
They call them wizards. Don't they call them wizards now?
No, it was magic user. It was,
okay,
it was
I wasn't sure they called them. I literally have
user.
run this game, and I remember they call them magic users. Wizards and sorcerers. No, they call them wizards. They call them wizards and sorcerers. They call them magic users. Magic users was back in the old day.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like Redbox.
Yeah, but back then it was called magic user. And there's nothing more depressing when you run out and you're watching everybody's fighter, and he's pulling out his 10 down, his D10 or something to roll his hit points, and they hand you a D4.
Yeah.
Like what? I was like, yep, there you go. Get your hit points.
And that's it. There's no constitution modifier or anything. It's if you roll a 1 on the die, you got 1.
That's what you did. You just ran out the door with your little dagger and just said, "Oh, hope a magic missile works."
I can cast it 1 time, and then I'm done.
You're not supposed to be.
So bad.
That's crazy.
But yeah, the system was completely different, and I think a lot of now there's a lot of indie companies and some of the bigger ones are doing some sort of throwback versions of the old D&D. But starting off, it was a very different. And like you said, it was. I mean, how you were introduced to it. I mean, now I can literally walk in my office and say, if I said I'm going to start a D&D game, they'd be like, "Oh, really? What?" I mean, when before he'd be like, "What?"
You did not mention it in mixed
company. No, absolutely not.
You're always very, it was like, well, it's just, what are you guys doing? We're just going to hang out. Like we could literally say anything else but D&D and it would be okay, I guess, And I'm just
it's funny. It's funny.
I remember,
and my mother was, my mother when they started the whole entire satanic panic around D&D, she was like, oh, okay, yeah, like basically, if it's nothing but a recruiting system to make you worship demons. And as a kid, I'm like, every time we play this game, our whole entire job is killing demons.
That literally.
Eventually, I mean, back in first edition, it was like your goal was to get strong enough so you can go to hell and kill the demons in hell. It was really crazy. This is crazy stuff. I was like, I don't even understand. My mom was like, not having this. Was gonna have those books in her house. So that's how I got started playing Traveler. I'm like, it's space, and she was like, oh, she would take me to the hobby shop, let me buy the things off the thing. Well, that looks nice. It had science, and of course it did. It had science and a lot of tables, and you had to figure out how much fuel you were going to in the mortgage.
I think I would have bounced right off that one.
She was like, it's fine, It's like it's a mortgage with a laser gun, maybe.
But we love the stuff.
We loved it because it was like, if I can play it, it'd be great, So for a long time, I didn't run D&D. I just played it at first because I couldn't have the books in my house. So that's why, like, when they started the club at, when they started they were doing the role-playing game at college, I didn't even have any D&D books. Everybody else, and like our friends had them, I didn't have any, So the friends, so I didn't have any. So I was like, I'll play, but I had like, every superhero game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I got that. Because as long as it wasn't fantasy, my mom did not mind, did not care. She was like, that's fine. I'm like, okay.
Robotech.
Robotech. All that stuff. So, but it was just funny how we're drawn into the gaming thing, and how we sort of exist there. I think that as a group, it had really helped me a lot because all the isolation that I felt from being a very awkward black man, a very awkward black gay man, was very, 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 very sort of strange journey. You're doing a lot of code switching, a lot of protecting yourself, of watching things, and here was a space where I could be me, and they loved me there, and I had no fear there, kind of thing, and it was a great place to be. And that was that sort of thing that a lot of those communities back then, as far as like role playing, created because you were already stigmatized for playing the game, so you only got a few people who were going to get to that filter.
Yep.
Yeah. And then once you were there, it was like, it's our safe space, and they had a space for people. I'm not saying there wasn't some toxic elements, because there always will be. But generally, it was considered a place where, the sort of the geek could geek out, and it was really nice to be there,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another thing that sort of kept us connected for all those years, because I guess it's sheer trauma. But it was just that we had built those bonds. And like Nathan said, once I found you, I'm not going to let you go, And that's what we really were kind of like that. It was like, it wasn't just him. It was like a lot of us were just like, I'm not letting go of these friends. I'm going to, we forged a friendship. I'm going to maintain it, keep it, or whatever. No matter, I don't care where you're deployed or where you moved to or how many kids you had or which divorce this is that you're going through. We're going to be fine, it's all good.
I thought we were going to talk about Matt.
His story to tell. Anyway,
life happens.
Life would happen. It was like, we are going to stay connected. That we don't, and it was, there was a lot of funny when I was watching my husband with his groups of friends and so forth, and how those things changed over the years. As far as we've only been together 15 years, but just watching how
only.
You have to understand, my parents have been together for 60 years, so I don't feel as if I've got anything to say. So I'm like, okay, well, just
give yourself imposter syndrome over here. 15 years is a long time.
15. 15. What was I doing 15 years ago? Oh, middle school. Yeah, that's it.
I think like the folks,
the last of our group to marry.
Yeah. The gaming folks from our era, like the Venn diagram of like anxiety and imposter syndrome and gaming, it was like a circle.
It was just a circle.
Overlapping.
Yeah.
The interesting thing for me and Al can probably speak to it a little bit more, is that the way that you guys talk about D&D back in the day is similar to what anime was in like the early 2000s, like late 90s, because it wasn't as popular as it is now.
Yep.
So to hear people talk about anime the way they do now and talk about
please.
reading manga and talk about
Yeah,
like all of these like really like strange like eclectic different like animes, and they're talking about like retro animes like, oh my god, have you heard of this thing Cowboy Bebop and Inuyasha? It's like
years ago.
have you seen the shirt? What are we talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is so true and so funny. And because I mean, yeah, the anime, I'm just like, I remember when it just, you know, it was out there. There were more people out there who were watching it than I'd ever seen before. And it was still a very small group, you know. And you'd say manga,
Very
and people
small.
would not know what the heck you're still talking about.
What are you
How do they
talking
not, you know? Because I mean, when I was young, when I was into it, you couldn't get a manga. You just heard about them.
Yep.
I actually even, like, for instance, had a subscription at one time to like it was called New Type magazine that I had to get from Japan. I don't know how I ended up with that. I think I went to some convention, and the conventions were we were talking some dingy stuff. Anyway, what am I talking about? I mean, half the stuff in those like those vending rooms, like this is on a Xerox or something, or a stole, you know, you just got bootleg stuff. Anyway, but you couldn't, you know, like you just couldn't. You didn't have a reliable source. Like you said, it's like when I walk in a bookstore, which are very few still now, but still when I see it and I see this whole entire that's a whole entire section of manga, I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
People would not. No one even knew what this was.
I didn't tell you had me over your house watching those bootleg VHS tapes.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Charles Counterattack is still a great movie. Despite itself.
That's so funny because that's actually, like I said, that's how I was introduced to anime. Also, it was literally getting my hair cut, and my cousin was like, "Oh yeah, here we're gonna watch this." And I'm like, "What? How are you watching this? You don't know what they're saying." And it's like, just watch it. You'll wait for the scene. Then the fight scenes come on, and it's just like, oh, I need to see more of this. I need more. And it's so funny because like, for us, for like growing up, you always see the movies of like the older times, like, oh, here's 70s, 80s, whatever, and people who are into like comics, anime, or whatever, they're getting shoved in the lockers and stuff like that. And now it's just like, I love anime, and people are like, oh yeah, me too, and it's completely different.
Marvel's like this huge thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
love superheroes, and it's just.
People like superheroes. Like, you guys did not care when I had.
You
my
remember when you
superhero.
made fun of me for liking Superman?
Goodness.
Now all my fun facts are useful. Oh, all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, this guy's an expert. All right.
We're selling my comic book collection to pay rent one month. That sucked.
Oh.
That hurts.
That's
That,
gonna hurt.
Still hurts.
That hurts.
I
I lost a ton of mine in the move. I lost all my entire Akira collection.
oh man.
Oh no.
I had a bunch of Star Wars and a lot of my X-Men. There were, you know, the
the X-Men support, those hurt the worst.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's-
have a few,
I-
I still
I
I had
had
to
a huge
recover a few over the
X-Men
years, but
collection,
yeah.
Yeah, the big X-Men
Most of them are
too.
gone.
Oh man.
I had the Sabretooth and Wolverine limited series. Sold that. That was.
I got a few. I mean, I have some things that, oh man, I just dug them out of the attic recently because Tim was looking for something, so I'm just pulling everything out. Like, hey, I have comic books still.
Man.
So what has it
And I
what
went,
has it been like for you two specifically, like especially now with like, because anytime anything gets really popular, there's always like grifters and
Yep.
like people who are kind of like trying to co-opt it and turn it into something that it's not. What has it been like for you guys to go from like, oh, this is just our thing, almost to the point where it was like secretive because it was like, oh, this isn't widely accepted, to like now it's being sold to you.
Yeah.
This is being like
You wanna
pushed.
go first?
Sure. First.
It was initially very exciting because like suddenly it was like, now they will see all the wonders that I have been, you know, doing. And so I was very excited to see that. And the thing is, like, there were suddenly platforms, there were suddenly books, there were suddenly, you know, maps, things that you could use. I mean, I have been drawing maps I still do, but I have been drawing maps for years, you know. I have been doing this stuff for a long time. And now you can just go to the store and buy a pack. I was like, that was awesome, you know, kind of thing. And knowing that people were going to be introduced to role playing, and it wasn't going to be stigmatized to do so. So I was excited at first, but then I guess as it like you said, as they started trying to sell it, it became one of those things like I am like, for instance, like I haven't run a D&D campaign because I kind of just like the book. For me, it's the book creep. Like I need this book, I need that book. I'm like, you know what? I don't want that book. So I mean, I even literally went out and not because I don't love it.
Hey,
back from drum sets.
Welcome
Back
in.
from your drum solo. Howdy do.
Good. Sorry to just drop in somewhat unannounced.
You're fine.
Yeah, we're just talking about you.
We were just talking
Perfect.
about you and the time in the basement and the. Never mind.
When I wore your mom's dress.
That's it. That's the one.
There
Did not actually read it up.
it
I'll let you tell the story.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can't
Now you
just
gotta tell the story.
breeze past this. Now we got to know.
Oh, we weren't
Please.
talking about that.
Please regale us. Oh, it was mentioned
Not
earlier.
made me
Let
stop
me
before I
crack a
mention it.
beverage.
I made him stop before we got there. He was like, "No, that's not story to tell." But I did set you up to tell it now. But
Look, yeah,
Welcome in.
it's a really tame and innocent story at the end of it. We literally were just gaming, and so you couldn't get any geekier or worse. We're all on a weekend night gaming in our friend's parents' basement, right?
that's me.
As you
That's
do,
my parents.
as-
That's my
right.
basement.
Yes. And we had gone to 7-Eleven, as you do, to get nutritious snacks for
Absolutely.
fuel and gaming. And I was sitting crisscross applesauce with a super big gulp and got very excited on a roll or something. I don't know what I did. And I just little too much flex of the hit of the thighs. And so let's say the big gulp's insides became outsides and my pants were completely soaked and sticky. So I'm there with the prospect of pulling an all-nighter in sticky underwear, and we were trying to figure, well, we can wash the clothes because we're downstairs, but I have nothing to wear. And apparently, in a much thinner version of myself, I was able to wear one of Malcolm's mother's dresses. I don't know why his dad's clothes was not offered or made available.
I'll tell you exactly.
One of his brothers. I don't know.
Here's what's going on. But one, my mother has an extensive wardrobe. That literally at this point in time, she has a Sunday dress for every day of the year of a given year, and she has twice as many. And that's depending. She literally have 3 closets, and they're like that was like these are all done. I'm done with these dresses. I'm not ready to give them away yet, but I'm done with these dresses in the basement. My brothers do not keep their clothes there. My dad does not keep his clothes. None of us keep our clothes down there because that's her space in that certain section. But it was the only place I could get clothes from. I was like, well, you can wear this move with this dashiki thing. It's fine. She'd be great.
You look fabulous, by the way.
You did was the story. The good thing is there's no cell phones back then, right? Someone would have to either go find a camera or maybe they had a couple snaps and a Polaroid or something. So there's no evidence. That's the beauty. There's
that is the great thing is there is
Yes.
no
Except for
evidence.
now we have it.
Well,
Now-
yeah, I can't imagine if
imagine-
some of this stuff.
Yeah, I
where
can't
we
imagine.
had phones.
Oh, I can't imagine. I'm like, oh.
Thank God.
Yes, we are happy the time is, it's.
I mean, it kind of takes the magic out of the story if you could just record everything that happened.
Yeah.
Right.
It
'Cause,
it
like,
does, but
if-
it's hard to
having
prove.
the visual
Hold on.
aids for
I'm
some
looking at
stories.
you, Clark. Don't you dare take some magic out of your story. Don't talk about this one.
Because then you just
All
pull
right,
out
good.
the picture and then like,
Go-
what you're
go
gonna
ahead.
like literally, you're gonna show a picture in a few seconds of me and Matt, and then it's like, there's a story behind that.
Huh.
Well,
But,
the thing
you know.
is, though, we're all into like role playing games and using our imagination. I guarantee you, for every audience member that can see me now, their vision of seeing this story is much more horrific than I'm sure it actually was.
Oh,
That's
So
the
man.
that's my gift to you.
Exactly.
That's the best part.
That is greatness.
Your hair was long then, wasn't it? That was
Yeah,
They had the
yeah.
ball.
80s
Yeah.
hair.
These
and-
these guys had the. I mean, literally, my mom was like, "Those are the guys with
I
the
had
long."
the
She's like, "Who he would wear this trench coat. My mom was like, I don't know about that boy with the long hair and trench coat.
I was a Columbine kid before there were Columbine kids.
Oh, my
It's like this is
God.
pre-Columbine. So it was like, literally, it was like, this is just the way it is. I'm like, that's just the way it is.
Yes.
So it's just like, she was like,
After like Columbine happened or whatever those places, I'm sure your parents were like, whew, we dodged a bullet.
yeah. It was just,
He just likes trench coats.
yeah,
That
my
was
parents,
right.
my
I
parents
love
like,
trench coats.
yeah, and that was, I was like, oh, thank goodness.
My goodness.
But I love my mom, but she was always never like like if there was someone she was suspicious was, she was the wrong person. She's like, oh, it was like,
Mhm.
I just love John. He sits down. I'm like, the one who introduced me to smoking. Okay, great.
Well, there you have it.
Oh, so hell, so sweet. The one who introduced me to drinking. Okay.
Oh,
I
Mm.
was
man.
just like, you are no good at this. But she tried. But,
I haven't thought about Sohail in a while.
oh, he's probably living high on the logs. I don't know where he is now.
I'm sure he's doing great.
He's doing great.
Man.
That was a man who lived. That was a man who lived in where he was going to be. Like he knew he was going to be this rich guy, and he just went there.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
he had the plan. He had the
Yeah,
plan.
he had the plan. He was like, he couldn't afford the gas, but he drove a Jaguar around when we were in college.
yeah, so that was Sohail, this his
One of our connected
Iranian descent. So we worked at this pet store in the mall. Like I started in high school, and then we both ended up going to the community college. Also, he wasn't technically in the gaming group, but he'd hang around.
Mhm.
But basically, he said, "Okay, by the time I'm 21, I'm going to own a Jaguar." And he saved his money, and then he bought himself a Jaguar, and we drove to Ocean City.
Yes.
And we went to this guy's house, and there was another 6'4" guy with blonde hair who was 21. He gave me his ID, and that's the fake ID I had until I turned 21. so Sohail was an instigator.
So
He was-
most times, he was
Yeah.
but he was just he had an incredible charm that
Oh my god. Yeah.
that
Anyway.
humans on the planet fell for. I mean, like if you if you ever want to say little, it's like, and that's a person I knew who had that high charisma score.
Oh,
Like you
man.
just
Oh,
like,
of course.
dang,
That's
you know,
funny.
he could just.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to do the thing. We'll figure it out when we get there, but it's going to happen.
It's
one way
gonna
or another.
happen.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's we're sure he's off making it happen somewhere.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it was
So-
back to what I was saying. I'm sorry. It was
Yeah.
it was interesting to see these companies and these games that we'd seen now suddenly be pushing these products towards us,
Mhm.
And I think for me it was nice to. I had already stepped away from D&D before then because it wasn't actually anything that was being pushed. It was just like, I need a system that can do this. So this, and a friend of ours who got me into freaking GURPS, and I didn't ever come out of there for a long. I mean, it was like there was like a decade where everything could be done in GURPS. Technically, yes, everything can be done in GURPS. There's a price though. It's very scary for new players. It's very, very intimidating, and it's a lot of involvement. And depending on how, I think it's one of those systems where you can add rules to it to make it more complex or more crazy if you want to. But anyway, but it's that's that.
Yeah.
But
It's almost like a TTRPG toolkit. Like build
Yeah.
your own.
that is
TTRPG.
Like,
that is their main thing. Yeah.
What is it called? Powered by the Apocalypse. That's the
Yeah.
one that people
It's-
you normally use to kind of make their own. They use that as like a skeleton.
That
For
is
like
a good
narrative game. Yeah.
That's a good narrative skeleton, and while GURPS is a very good crunchy skeleton, and that's the main difference between the two. Is that they're both really good skeletons for depending on what you want the background to build. But so when D&D came back and Nathan got me back into it, I was like, yeah, and then it was like, oh yeah, all this stuff is happening, and then it was like, would you like to buy this? And I was like, I think when. I guess it was the most recent. I guess it was probably recent, but when the D&D Beyond, and I think it was just one thing when they said, you have to buy this book. I already own the book. I already bought the book from your company. Why don't you give me a free digital copy But if you can't do that, give me a super discount for buying your digital copies because I have to buy it again. Because you know what I can do? I can go out and buy somebody else's role-playing book and get a digital copy, PDF copy for free, effectively.
Yeah.
In addition to that. So, and they just, that kind of thing is like, that's kind of like, I don't need to have these people.
Yeah.
Go on, Nathan. Your turn, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to look at how. So it's gotten a lot bigger. It's still the TTRPG hobby itself is actually pretty niche, and I think that folks kind of that are either doing TTRPG content or actual players or whatever, I think we kind of lose sight of that sometimes at how small it is, and there's really trying to find a way to get paid doing it. And lightning does occasionally strike, like with Critical Role. But I've seen definitely we've been doing this for over 5 years now. In the past 5 years, we've seen a lot of people that are really just like turn on each other. Like we're all we love playing games, and we should be kind of like all on the same side, but there's just because there's this perceived what I think is mistaken, this perceive that I can make it in TTRPGs and become somebody special or bigger than I am, and I'm sure like some people's going to happen and whatnot, and you're not going to get there if you don't try. But it's just I think the kind of the stars in their eyes, it can kind of make you turn you into a little bit of an asshole sometimes, and when you see like, okay, so these other people are getting these things that I feel should be mine, and then there's like all this, there's like gatekeeping,
green monster,
and cliques and clicks, and so it does. That's like I want more people to play TTRPGs. I want people to play games outside of D&D. That's something I push for. I think making actual plays is super fun. Like I went to school after PG. I went to school for audio, so being able to do all the audio stuff has been like really a fascinating, a wonderful gift to myself that or I guess Matt and the other folks have given to me. But it's I think more people should be making actual plays, and if I said that if I went on social media and said, "Yay, more people should be making actual plays," that would not go over well.
I think he's right. It's sort of like they almost treat it like there's a finite pool, and it's like it was never supposed to be a finite pool. It's just like it's a game. I mean, we always started with inviting people to play the game, where they're like, "Well, can we make a profit if we invite these people?"
and for you're right, once you throw in the profit stuff, then it gets a little sketchy, and you see and bad actors get attracted to that kind of thing. You've seen multiple people get found out, years after being a total creep behind the scenes. They'll get found out.
That's a big one.
Yep.
So that happens a lot. So that's going to happen in any kind of fandom. But I get a little bent out of shape when it's like, well, if you and your friends don't have to make an actual play. It's like, well, but what if they want to? If they want to, do it. It's fun. Be prepared to lose a lot of free time and there's an expense to it. But editing software. I love editing. I love it so much. It's my Zen time. So
hear me out.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I love it,
but
I don't love how long it takes because I want to like. It's like feeding an ever burning engine. Is this whole like content creation thing?
Yeah, w
where it's like because you can't help but to like because of the nature of social media, you can't help but to compare yourself to other people, where I'm just like, how the hell are they getting an episode out a week? I can't do that. I will never be able to do that, because
Me neither.
I keep tinkering with it, and I keep messing with it, and I want it to be the same way that I see it in my head, and the same way that we all experience it at the table. Like if you just watching it at home, you might not be able to like hear like the music and the sound effects like that, but there are none. These are happening in our heads as we're telling this story. We're fully immersed there, and that's what the music and the sound effects and like everything else is, to dress it up, to give everybody else that same kind of like feeling that we're getting. But in order to translate that, it takes so much time.
Right thing for the
And
right moment.
I love the end product. I love the
Yeah.
end product. I never put out anything that I don't completely love. But I'd like to play like video games every now and then. In between.
I uninstalled Steam after we started the podcast.
Oh man.
You have not used Steam at all.
That's a
have
commitment.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
a
I haven't touched Steam in 5 years.
I was
So
like, you haven't touched it.
Oh.
it's not on any of my computers anymore. So it's just gone. If I have free time, I come down and edit, because I like you. I want the sound I hear in my head to come out of these speakers.
Yes.
So and that takes some doing, because it's I don't do this professionally. I have to relearn a lot of this shit. So it's
YouTube University.
yeah.
A lot of YouTube tutorials. A lot of bad YouTube tutorials. And I don't like. I appreciate everybody who puts a video up with like a how-to, because I need 10 of them to get through any task, because I need a how-to to get to the start of the second how-to, because that one just started late. They were just like, oh yeah, just assuming you know how the rest of this works, here's step 1. It's like, I don't even, where'd you get, there's like 5 other things you did before this that were off camera, and now I gotta go find somebody else's video. So I appreciate them, but like, if you make how-tos do better, damn.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah.
Well, I think
Sometimes-
you talked about like a big space with TTRPGs. What I've noticed is, like originally when I started kind of looking for them, so there's like Tim's one of our cast members. I know he and I are completely different as far as the medium in which we like to experience them. So we have a YouTube channel, right? And our YouTube channel does pretty good for, a hobby YouTube channel. But I personally, I'm someone who cannot watch actual plays on video.
Okay.
I have to listen to them, because that's the space I want. Like if they're providing the music, or maybe they're not providing the music or something, like I thrive in that conceptual sort of space. Whereas Tim is someone who really prefers to watch them, because he experiences it through the facial expressions, these events that happen when someone rolls a D20, they get a critical, and everyone at the table's like, oh, he feeds off of that visual energy. And it's funny, like I find it to be noise, where I'm purely into the audio, which is funny because we do these, we make them, right? But it's, and the other thing is there's a real cut where you look at actual plays who edit or don't edit. That's the other thing I found, is there's a lot of people that just stream and then they put it out there.
Please don't.
And it took us 3 years to do our first live event, and it was not until our 4th and 5th year that we actually started to sprinkle in some live content. And we only did that after we started that interview show that we did, which was live and unedited, right? We were very much married, and we're still married to our primary stories of only edited content. And I think it makes a big difference. It's like you said, you got to put in the work, and it will make your product better. It's not that there's not a place for live stuff, but it really, I enjoy when I hear our episodes for the first time, right? After Nathan's put all this stuff into it and stuff. So I think it's a big investment, but I do think it's worth it it's worth it if you can and you have the time.
1,000%.
I like being able to kind of highlight what my friends are doing with the sounds I make. So like Malcolm has this great and Matt too. One of the so both of them have like really great narration voices. So I love kind of jazzing those up a little bit, and when they do the Malcolm does villains pretty well, so I give each of his villains some interesting traits. But yeah, so it's I enjoying a lot of the sound stuff. Like I've got to record a whole bunch of whooshes this week for this next episode in arrow sounds. So I've got a lot of work to do for
oh man
to get there to make it sound the way I want, because I'm trying to do it as if I were working on a TV show, like, so I'm not just trying to like, because a lot of the live shows they're great, they're beautiful, they're doing what they enjoy, that's wonderful, but they're all kind of pulling from Sirenscape and and all those canned tracks, where if I record my own stuff and do my own thing, that's something only I have, and it's only going to be on our show. So that's kind of my goal, is to do less of the stuff that's already pre-recorded and try to at least every episode have some of my own unique sounds in there. So it's
also a lot more convenient, because I spend a lot of time trying to find the sound or the sounds that I can layer on top of each other to get close to what I want, because I not yet, at least, I don't have the capability to like kind of like record them and make them myself. It's just not a skill that I had in the first place. I'm not musically inclined that much.
We'll talk later. You can
you have a microphone.
Yes, please,
he can teach you.
Please, thank you. The humble bundle packs just keep recycling the same ones. I already have them.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it's hard to try to, because I know what I want it to sound like. I know what I know when I want like my really intense moments, when I want the music to cut down a little bit slower, I want to add a couple things, and then I want like whenever those big moments happen to have that big rush of energy. And I'm just like, I'm limited by what my hands are capable of doing with this MacBook. This is what
it's hard. There's like sometimes like I can't quite get to where I want to be, so it's like I have to say, okay, well, this is good enough. There has to be a point. It's hard, but there is a point where it has to be good enough.
But I am. We are all very, very happy with the product that comes out, because the thing is, like, in the end, what I hear is that you guys are working very hard to give people who are not there that experience with all the sensations and feelings and so forth, and the emotions that are evoked, that won't just happen from like Matt said, from a live recording at times. And I think that's an amazing thing, and I think that's one of the things I think that people miss when they are getting into it, is they forget that we're not in truth performing for someone. We're letting someone sit at our table while we play.
We're inviting a perspective thing.
That's like the perspective is, we want you to be sitting at our table, as opposed to we're doing a show for you, and it's a very different feel, and it's much more honest as far as I'm concerned, and it's a lot of work to make you feel as if you're there, and I love that, and I think that's great. I just wish more people came to the actual play that with that mindset, but they're looking to, like Nathan said, they forget and they say, what are the ways I can maximize my fame or money or whatever, or exposure to this thing by using it, when we'd like to think that with a little work, our table is interesting enough that you'd want to sit and play.
Yeah.
And I think that
we're the only ones that,
It's definitely
I think that's one thing I think it's gonna have to happen in time, is that there will be this sort of, I think people will begin to distill what is a place at the table and what is a show. And a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to start
It's-
stepping away. I think a lot of people are going to start getting tired of the show and seeking the table.
There's definitely a dichotomy there. That's why I feel like I see people that are kind of talking about actual plays a lot, and they're not talking about people who play like us, who are like performing for each other and inviting people to. They're really talking more about the people that are performing for an audience.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but I think they're both actual plays and they're both valid. It's just some people want kind of the performance and dramaturgy and more actorly whatever made up word you want to use. If that's what you enjoy, that's great. For my personal taste, and it sounds like what Malcolm and I think Matt like too, is really they want something that feels authentic and genuine, and I hope that's what we're doing. That's our goal is to be, we're never going to have 100,000 subscribers or anything like that, but I'm amazed we have like on YouTube I think it's like close to 1,500. Which is like crazy. And anybody, if 10 people show up and watch what we did, that's a win. Because
that's a crowd.
Absolutely.
If you see those 10
Absolutely.
people in the room, like depending on how big that room is, it's getting kind of stuffy in there.
Yeah.
There's,
need
there's
lots of
almost like
ventilation.
a be careful what you wish for thing too, right?
Mhm,
So
yeah.
like there's a few people that will come and listen to all of our live streams, like our special things, but it's very few, right? But they seem to enjoy themselves, they have a good time, they interact, and there's no sort of like demand. It seems like all these, either you look at like movies or anything that really gets really big and creates like a giant fandom that just loves it. There's this weird thing where somehow the fandom thinks that it's got ownership of the product. I mean, look, we can all complain about about a Star Wars film. Pick your thing you don't like. But ultimately, those are George Lucas's movies. Well, the first one, right? They're, up to a certain point. And so like I tend to be pretty forgiving about things like that, but
I do not forgive.
Right. and I there's some things that I don't. But that's one of the things that is always kind of scary about, like, you want fandom and you want to reach people and you really love to make an impactful story and people are like, wow, but then when do you start getting that, like, oh, you didn't do this, or I didn't like, I feel like thankfully no one wants ownership of our content.
Yeah, no one wants ownership of our content.
Right. So I'm just saying there's like a pitfall, and it would be awesome, but
to come to
at
that
the same
pitfall, is that
time,
what you're saying?
No. I think it would.
I was like,
no.
Just under it.
You don't want that
I
pitfall.
know.
Well, look at the
I think I
small
know what
things
you're-
I've said. Like, no one's ever drawn us a piece of fan art, right?
No,
true.
that's not true.
Someone has.
Oh, who?
The Genitalius Cube.
Oh,
Yeah, the Genitalius Cube was definitely fan art.
Okay, I'm sorry. A character that derived from my speech problems. Thanks. That's great. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Hey,
I
Did you ever see,
struggle.
did we show you that?
I
Have you seen that on our
can't
post?
say it's very. I have to literally talk super slow to say gelatinous cube. That is not what I say when I'm running my game, and so great. So there's our fan art.
Yeah. So
There's one
it's
episode.
It's gonna be a fan art.
If you look at our YouTube channel, there's a Attack of the Genitalius Cube, and I have a counter every time he like mispronounces gelatinous. So, it's just so funny.
It's actually incredible.
So,
Was not even aware. Of
Oh,
mistake.
man.
yeah. So
I think-
that's the thing.
I
It's
think
like,
that-
it's good.
I think that we naturally, because we're in the AP like kind of like space, there is a feeling, I guess for me as a DM, I get a feeling of this is how I would normally run my tables, but I feel like I just pay more attention to pace. I think pace is where I think, because we're not actors. If we try to be actors, it'll come off disingenuous and just gross. Because we are not actors. We do not act. We are role playing. We are getting into these characters. We are forgetting that the camera is on. And if we tried to act out those things, it just wouldn't come off.
It's
Because
not natural.
you can't.
It's not a natural.
You gotta feel it. You like when that moment of like my character's about to die, and we didn't know how much health the boss had left, and then all of a sudden you hear so how do you want to do this? Like that is real. Like, oh, I can't wait to chop this thing's fucking head off. It's just it's a natural, just high energy reaction. And as a DM for an actual play, I want to make sure that the pacing is good enough to sustain the audience, but I refuse to compromise the storytelling in which to do that. And I don't want to mess up the environment that we've created that allows people to role play, because I don't want to speed people through scenes. I don't want to like kind of be like, okay, well, tavern keeper kicked you out, like because I have to move the story along because we're at like the 3.5 hour mark of the recording. And I think that's the only pressure that I feel as far as like a DM, like with having an audience watch it later, is like I am more aware of the time.
I throw all that out when I run. I'm there for these guys, and I want to harass them. I want them to hate me. And be frustrated,
be scared
so
to open the
session.
Scared to open the door.
Wow, really? I
know this.
I know this. Because I was thinking like the because of the Dragonbane campaign, I was trying to be a lot more concise than I normally, because I am just like, we'll just completely keep role playing forever and ever. I mean, I don't know. People, they literally, I mean, if I bring up shopping, it is just like, oh my God, I'm happy to go through every single store and shop that your characters are going through, or picking up equipment, or getting loaded out for a mission. I'll go through that whole entire thing. Not even a bat an eye. And people are like, not another shopping episode. And I'm like, I didn't realize it was a shopping episode until they tell me later on. I'm like, oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Case in point.
And because I didn't recognize it, it will happen again because I have no idea what happened. I was like,
case in point with Malcolm and his love of role playing. We were doing extra scenes for our new actual play that we're going to have out in the fall. And we decided that we would do some like filler scenes between the episodes for the characters for some like character development. And I think I was envisioning like 5-minute, 6-minute, 7-minute vignettes to kind of like be little things that toss in between the episodes. So there's 2 of us who are going to do them. I'm going to do one. I'm second. And one of our cast here is going to be on the first one. And we're talking like 5-10 minute vignettes. About a half an hour in, I texted Nathan on the side, who was not there that evening. I'm like, oh my God, this is never going to end between Malcolm and Tyr, and I wasn't going to stop them because it was good role play,
stuff,
right?
Yep.
But it's just like, but I was like, I was thinking concise. Let's get these scenes in. Let's get these things.
And go on, and if I can,
Tyr will go.
Tyr will go. Yeah. He will go on and on and on. And that was one problem. Like years ago, when we actually, we lived together, and I was running games at our houses. They'd be like, "Oh, we don't have to be anywhere, so we can just continue." So they'd be like, and we're like, crap, man. We just spent a whole hour talking about you sitting this bridge. Everybody else okay? Like, is anybody here? But yes, and I do like the story to just sort of sometimes take a life of its own and let it just breathe and live and grow. And so a lot of things that I had, I'll have like these one set of notes, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I don't even know why those are even there, because I used 2% of it and then wrote all the other stuff down.
Yep.
And like, I don't know how many times, and it will still continue to happen. I'm like, Nathan, can you play back this portion or play back the whole episode because sometimes I am not. I'm just going in a fugue and I have no idea what I've just said. I've built a whole entire plot, whole story plot, and didn't even realize I did it. And it was like, what did I say? Oh yeah, that's do that ghost and that thing. Okay, yeah, I gotta do that. I gotta run that adventure. I literally made up an adventure by accident in the middle of another adventure that I now have to run. I was just like, oh man, made a side quest.
Into a flow state. So yeah.
just hit it. So.
I'm the same way. I'll do a lot of planning, and I'll just, as soon as we get there, just.
Yeah, I would like to be. Yeah, I was like, I should stick with this. And right now, I'm currently working on a campaign for the local group. They won't see it for a long time. I'm trying to be real concise this time. Like, I'm going to be really concise with the base level. I'm like, okay, this mission has this. These are the people in this mission. These are the guys in this mission. This is the objective. This is the complication. I'm like, this stuff will last until that first session and it's gone. I know it's going to be. I mean, literally, Dragonbane barely kept me in line. I was like, oh, I guess I should mention these things that are in this module.
Yeah, we co-GM that. So yeah, we basically do one adventure site that I'd toss it over to Malcolm. He'd do an adventure site, but his adventure sites would generally.
And it was like one was just like we don't have an adventure site. I just randomly rolled one, and that one was like
that was really good.
That was that was the wizard and the cake and the candle maker guy.
Yeah.
So for the people that don't know what Dragonbane is, because that's your guys' like long ongoing campaign.
Yeah, like over 2 years now. Yeah.
What is what's like the elevator pitch for Dragonbane if you had to explain it to somebody that hasn't seen it before?
So it's a fast and fun fantasy role-playing game with danger. So that's one of my biggest complaints with D&D is it's like I never feel like I'm in danger. Like it's
I was like well I mean
there's always somebody who has some kind of healing spell or something like that, or you can just rest and you get all your hit points back. There's like no like long-term consequences.
There are okay.
Let him rest.
Whoa. Clark, do not listen to him. He's not at our table.
I would say baseline. I would agree.
Nice.
I mean, baseline basic D&D. That's true. Once you get past the third level, once you have your subclass,
right?
It does get a point where it does seem a lot easier to survive. Unless, of course, you have a DDM that chooses to make it a challenge.
They don't see
combat can take a while too because you're kind of whacking back and forth until you're getting all the hit points down. So
there is more attrition when it comes to hit points, but sometimes that can disappear really quickly with certain spells and certain actions.
Yeah.
But generally, yes, it will seem more. But I would say that Dragonbane is much more an expedited way of having a sort of a high fantasy game. So you do have, your powers and your points and so forth. But there is a greater level of danger and lethality to it. And a difficulty of sort of...
There's still some tactical elements to it.
There's definitely some tactical elements to it that make it very much like D&D as far as I need to do this at this time or try this particular action. So it does that. And it was what was it? Where are they from? What country is it?
Sweden.
It was Sweden's D&D. Like this,
okay.
It was their D&D.
Octobanner or something.
Yeah, it was like Dragons and Demons is what it's called, and it's now being sort of case of Dragonbane. But yeah, it was their D&D, and it does brings a lot of its old ancestry from the 80s all the way through. So the level of that sort of level lethality does come through because that was one thing that it was definitely a course that ran through most game systems at that point in time, particularly D&D and everything's that have now changed. There's a lot. I mean, the idea of a long rest or even a short rest it was just like completely a dream that we had in first edition. It was just like a long rest was we spent a month in this one place and we got hit points back. The idea of like you use your spells, it was like, well, that's it for the day. Tomorrow, if I get a good night's rest, I can get more spells again, maybe. It was that kind of. So
now I'm just poking stuff with a stick.
Just poking stuff with a stick, and don't poke that cat because he has more hit points than you, magic user. but
Yeah, I was just going to
so-
say, from perspective, the deadliest thing that we encountered in Dragonbane was cold water.
Yeah.
Literally
like
water
running
almost
cold
killed
water. Because you fall on
more
that,
times
you can't
where people
swim.
almost killed by water.
Because you're basically it's like you fall in the water.
You're both
hypothermia.
freezing.
Hypothermia, can you swim?
Basically.
You're both freezing and drowning.
It was moving really fast, so it could drag you away. So that was one of the most
Right.
dangerous things because it was so easily.
Don't
Like, you
get
couldn't, like-
any ideas. Please don't get any
I've been
ideas.
too nice.
I mean, like, because that was
All right,
what's
guys,
so
I'm gonna
funny
head
is like
out.
literally like even the funniest thing like GURPS, which all its crunchiness and everything else, and the most dangerous thing was every character you had, you got swimming because you fell in the water. You're gonna drown. If someone's gonna try and save you who has swimming, they have such a negative to their swimming roll to try and save someone, they could drown too. So it was just like, don't drown, keep away from deep water. It was just like very basic background things. But I remember like in Dragonbane, there was this, they're going through this deep cave and they're dealing with, these creatures that are in there. But literally there was a river. There was like literally this cold water stream that if you didn't jump across and fell in, you would freeze, you had to swim, and it was fast moving, it was going to flush you out somewhere else. So I was like, that was literally the most lethal thing. And then it was just pools of cold water too, were a problem.
Well,
'Cause you
and,
might,
and the outcome with that was something that I hadn't seen since like first and second edition. Now I wasn't playing at the time, but going back and listening, the party after that river, they tried a few things. They left the dungeon.
Yeah.
They were like, you know what? We have to leave and rest and figure out what we're going to. And I just
And that's-
hadn't seen that from a party because usually, right, D&D, it's just, let's take a short rest. Let's get our spells back. Let's fly across the river, right? And so that was kind of something that was kind of an interesting throwback where I hadn't seen the players actually worried and like, let's take a step back and go to town and rest and heal. Because we tried doing a rest it'll be in our next episode, right?
You mean that cave, those cave system. Oh God. Yeah.
In the very end
already-
of this
yeah, yeah.
story, we tried to do what the equivalent of a rest, and you have to roll for random stuff. And we got interrupted twice, and we just, after having to do one or two combats trying to rest, we just gave up and pushed on to the big bad because we either have to leave.
They later managed to barricade
or-
themselves in a room later on in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the only way they were able to restore anything.
Spoilers.
And
Yeah.
and like for instance, like and that's one of the that's sort of an old school thing they pulled through as far as because people are but D&D also has that, and the GM's guide, it has a whole entire thing like your long rest have to be a week, your short rest are the 8 hours you sleep, and that changed how a game was played. As a matter of fact, one of the I guess what do you call those? I guess one of the sort of game worlds that are based in D&D, Barcelona, which is like the spaghetti fantasy game. It works on that.
Yeah.
That's a game that literally you basically only go up to 6th level in that game and it stops. You're basically just these knaves who are just trying to do these jobs, and a job is an adventure. And that job is you don't get a long rest, you get one short rest usually during that job. So it's the same amount of D&D. It's like D&D, all the powers, but you only get your short rest comes at the end. It comes maybe in the middle, but your long rest only comes at the end when you get to sort of hang out and relax for a week or a month, and then you have this whole entire mechanic as far as what you're doing then. And it really changed how people
How would that work
played
for
game.
spells, though?
You had to
Because
you would just you were very careful about what spells I was going to use because I wasn't going to get it back.
My gosh.
And that's the way old D&D
No,
was
Clark.
too.
No,
it was
Clark.
like it was like I got it. I mean, that magic user was like, I got 3 spells and 4 hit points because I'm 3rd level now, which is really high because I survived 2 levels, and I've got to figure out because I have to use this spell and then I got to read it out of my book and memorize it overnight so I can get it the next morning and use it. All this kind of crazy stuff. That really it changes how, but in bringing it forward and playing it and having games, that changes the challenge of the tension. Like for instance, I'm running a Shadow Dart game for my local group, which has a similar mechanic where like you have to there's no short rest. It's all you sleep overnight and you have to take your watch, and if you can't get the full rest, you don't get it. It also has there's other mechanic in it. Is like your dungeon delvers, but your light source only lasts 1 hour of real time. So we start at 5 and it's 6 o'clock. That regardless of what we're doing, that torch goes out. So and you can only carry so much.
That's actually really interesting.
You can only carry so much. So
Shadow
it's
Dark's a lot of fun. Yeah.
So it's like who's got a torch and who's got like they were like we need someone needs to have a light spell. And I said, you understand you're going to cast a light spell at the it lasts for an hour. In an hour you have to cast it again. If you fail, you can't cast it again until you have a long rest. And you have to figure out if I can get a long rest because depending on the level of danger you're in, you may not sleep at all. You're like they just wake us up. You try to take a long rest. It's like the long rest is never it's not guaranteed. It's not something like you're like, well, it's not like Baldur's Gate. You go home, take a long.
I like that.
Like I love that when I was playing Baldur's Gate 3. I was like, oh wow, you could just go you can go back to camp and take a long rest and no bullshit. Because that was like half the time I'm like, that's what I'm gonna get you with your bullshit. You think you're quiet? It was like literally, it was like every time. I was like, and Dragonbane, it's like watches. Like we had to take watches. Who's taking watch? Because there's always someone going to walk by, and depending on how busy or whatever was going on, they're going to come by. And I used to not be a person that really liked random encounters. That changed, of course. I love them.
Hey.
Oh, God.
There's a lot of little things too. I would touch on two other little aspects that I think are big selling points for me for Dragonbane. Monsters, like real monsters, automatically hit. They don't have to roll to hit. There's a random table of what action they do, which also has a lot of flavor.
Yeah. I like this.
And there's also improvised weapons.
Environmental improvised weapons.
You're fighting a ghost. I don't have any weapons that can hit a ghost. There's a torch on the wall. I grab the torch off the wall. I hit the ghost with the torch.
So yeah, you literally
it's on fire.
You have environmental stuff like you have almost like in this environment there are these sort of improvised situations like a low branch, a bucket full in the water,
throw a snake at somebody.
You can do that, and it just gives the players options of what's in their environment. And some monsters can automatically hit. There's also a thing you can do to mitigate that sometimes. Not always, but sometimes.
Like dodging and parrying and stuff like that, yeah.
But you're using up, using up your action economy to do that, So it makes it really kind of choices like how are we going to take on this thing? And one thing that Dragonbane does point out
right?
is
if you parry
or
dodge, that's your turn. It's not like an extra action.
Yeah.
So initiative is really important. Where you fall in initiative, so you really have to work together to kind of say, okay, I'm going to give my initiative to so and so they can do this thing to give us a boost.
Initiative is done by cards. It's not done by your speed. It's like you're all just dealt your initiative, and then I think it's like 1 through 10. And the party can say, "Oh, I want to trade my initiative to this party member, or with that, or I want to trade it with the monster."
Oh,
like I want the monster.
Like that a lot.
Like if a monster has like multiple attacks, they get multiple cards. You can trade like we want all of his attacks to go last. We'll give him our cards.
So I don't know if you're going to be able to edit this into an elevator pitch, but we just really enjoyed the game.
It's been a really good game. It's a really interesting way of playing. And it did really as you're saying, it's what's happening. It's like you're seeing ways that you can play other games. Like it really enlightened me as far as like, how am I going to do D&D? Because because the thing is like it's a simple
He's
thing.
Seen it.
Yeah, what is it?
He's seen it for sure.
Why should I make any rest a guarantee? It should be a challenge. And literally, Dragonbane does a thing where where Matt said we left as a party. They actually encourage that. They're like let your players just if they need to.
Oh my God! No, see.
If I would have known that this existed in the way it does, our Strixhaven campaign that we ran would have been way more miserable than an hour.
It was already miserable. Don't let him fool you.
But it's pretty. I would say one thing is definitely one thing that people do a lot when running D&D is that we often look to other books. But just look in the back of that DMG. There's some things in there. There's simple rules like the long rest thing and the travel rules that can make it I won't say make it a hell for players, but make it a challenge.
Well, there's a whole section. Is it in the GM's guide in the new? Well, I don't know about the new 6.5.5 or whatever, but there's like hardcore rules for D&D.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
the optional rules. It's like the optional rules chapter.
Like, for
Yeah,
healing
and
and
some
stuff
of
like that.
those are.
Some of those are brutal, and it depends
Some
on
of them
how.
are very brutal.
But they will let you change the tone of D&D, and usually people don't look into them until they come to another book. Their book will come in and that's gritty. You can still do it, and even Dragonbane has a lot of fun things. I mean, I do love the fact that mallards are these sort of bipedal sentient ducks which are running around. Is a player character race. I love that. And wolfkins will always be having wolf people will always be a thing. But I will love. The only thing I love more than that is bear people. But don't ask me. I just not that I'm a furry. I just think it's kind of cool in the game. No offense.
If you're if you're a Tekken fan, it makes sense.
Yep.
It's
But if you
fancy.
like bears, you like bears. That's no shame in
If
that.
you like bears, which I do. But I think they're really kind of cool. I think does the bestiary have?
Is that a tough one, Tundra?
Yes. So,
That's what they say. I
But-
feel slightly triggered by this.
the
comment.
Dragonbane has a lot of really good stuff in it, and I think the mallards are
man.
one of the best things in it. But anyway, but yeah, that campaign, it was a lot of fun to run. The rules were simple but dynamic enough. I wouldn't even say really simple, but dynamic enough that we could really get all our sort of role playing and gaming and done into it. And it was a lot of fun. Not that it couldn't be done in another system, but I think by doing something and introducing players to this one, it just sort of makes it a lot more fresh overall as far as how they encountered it. Because one thing that you do have is some seeing some shows and some fans is like, well, I wouldn't have run it that way, or I wouldn't have done that. That's not how that D&D rule worked. And it's like, this is their game. Everything, no matter if I said I'm running everything by the rules, it will still be a tome brew regardless of what I do. So just back
You
off.
like that.
Just enjoy it.
If I fuck up a rule, I'll let the table know. It's like, hey, I fucked this up for the last session. This can be a homebrewed rule, but this will go both ways. I will now be able to use it the way I said it. If I let you do it on accident, it's cool and all. It's cool and all. If you want to keep this new toy, I get it too.
Oh my God.
Somehow I keep thinking this new toy always comes with a double edge.
It
You can keep this new
100% is double edged.
Yeah,
man.
because there's been a few things. Because I'm just like, I don't feel like looking this up today. How do we feel about this? How do we-
And I used to, for me, I used to be like and I think I probably still am in art, but I used to be like, I'm always the super nice GM. I had this horrible reputation for a long while that, don't worry, Malcolm will never kill your character. And I didn't for a long time. I just didn't kill his character. Dragon with tragedy, yes. Snuff an NPC that you've loved, yes, but you're fine. And then after a while, I realized that's a problem.
What made you switch? What was the
I think
first time where you're just like,
I
this
think
has to
players
happen?
having too much of assurance in that made me switch. I was like, you're doing this because you believe that risk, and it was nothing. There's no mechanic except for my just being that way, kind of a GM, and then these guys have been lucky so far in my games for the most part. I mean, really drowning in the cave.
I was really
it's
super
just a lot
lucky.
of luck,
I think in our first campaign,
and that's the funny thing. It's like layers into that, yeah. But
I think in our first campaign, all of us went like death saving throws at one point. Like everybody had one of the death saving throws, and
That was not my fault.
which I still think is a good one.
That's not my fault. It was a lot of their first time playing. The campaign that we ran for them was a mixture of like people that had a lot of experience, and then half the table was people that didn't have a lot of experience at all. And it was their first real campaign. We had done like test sessions where I'd teach them how to play, but this is their first real campaign. And he's making me talk about the campaign that I just said I'm not going to talk about
I
it
just
anymore.
said,
But they make me talk about the campaign that we didn't record.
because it's great.
And no
I
one's
remember.
ever seen.
Because it's great. It was great. But
We
all
still-
that to say, we experienced very, very near death situations, and like if a couple of us have been like, I need help, please give me the help action, please, because
But it feels good to be there. Like
Yeah,
if
it
it's
does.
too easy,
It is.
then you're just like, oh, it doesn't matter. I can do what I want.
Yeah, that is one thing that one of my players in my local party that she's having a problem with. We'd played a lot of Savage Worlds. And Savage Worlds has a meta currency that can help you sort of, I can re-roll or I can change this thing. So it has like, that kind of thing in it to sort of like these tokens. And the thing is, we've played games that do not have that since then. That don't give you that sort of, and also Savage World is one of those like, it's sort of set up to be, and in truth, it's sort of like, its base thing is like the players are going to be the heroes. They even have like, they get special things they can do. They get bennies, which are these meta currencies. They get a wild die that can add or take place of their other stat dice for rolling. So it's really very nice for players, and they have a really cushy place. But when you take that away, she was like, "This is horrible." I'm like, that's just the game. That's just what it is. That's how this works. And I kept thinking like, it's just it. I did worry that it was coddling in some ways as far as that system, but they set it up so that's set the system up in that way, so you will take greater chances and be crazier and be more intimate.
So we should bring up Savage Worlds in a second, because our next game is going to be Savage Worlds. But I want to bring up so the last time we played D&D, it was basically my whole mission in life was to dare Matt. Matt was the DM. Was to dare Matt to kill me. So I used Constitution as my dump stat, and I was playing a monk who would run into combat because
it was literally
dump stat.
I would just run. I would run into combat. I was always the first person. I would go in immediately. There's a mob up there. I would get there like a turn before everybody else and punch a bunch of things, and then they'd all pile on me and
go down. It was almost like
I'd go down.
It was kind of like this sort of monk-shaped grenade we just throw at things. It's like, okay, now
how
we're
do
going.
you react to that?
The character
How do you
was a tank,
react to
but
that?
wasn't a tank.
No, he's like,
Well,
I can do this. Like,
I think this is where kind of Nathan kind of had a valid point, right? Because he would do these stupid things and we would roll the dice and he would get pummeled like he should, right? But then it was, right, the problem was there were like 3 different characters. And, we did have a cleric in the second campaign.
Yeah.
But the first one we didn't. But we still, it's like we had a bard. We had 2 bards. And so there was always someone who could do a little like healing spell or something, right? And so it was almost impossible. It was almost impossible to outright kill him from his behaviors. Now, it could have happened, right?
You could, I was pretty lucky too, but
and I was kind of happy with myself because with D&D, I find it also, it's good for high fantasy. You're not going to die very easy. So I like to combine my encounters with environmental challenges.
Yes.
So we had a mimic, but instead of a traditional mimic with like a treasure chest, I had a flooded room with a portcullis that had a gearbox 20 feet underwater. Well, they sent a guy in to go swim to pick it. It's a mimic, and now it's grabbed him. It's drowning him underwater. And there are these little piranha fish, right? So that's where you can. I used rooms with like tunnels with spiders, but it's a little tiny tunnel, so they can't swing their weapons. So these are the kinds of things. When you add in, you can make things more dangerous, but it is a very hard system to outright
there are wheels
kill
turning.
people. But that's how I like. I don't use mud, use water.
Get those wheels out of here.
That was like that's the turn.
I thought that I was because for our campaigns, I try to make sure that there's a good amount of consequence. There's a good amount of like, I want them to think about what they do, but I don't want them to overthink and like not be able to do the things that they want to do. I want them to feel like there's danger inherently, but not to focus on the fact that there is always danger there. And I think we ride a pretty good line but every now and then I have to like factory reset them because I feel like I kicked it too much. I hit the trauma button too much. And now they're afraid of elevator doors.
Yep.
And I was like, okay.
Doors,
I had a whole
doors.
campaign where they just like literally it was like I could just stop people. I could stop the group with the door. They was like, "Is there a door?"
That happens every campaign.
Every
seems
campaign.
to, but-
It's like there's like doors are now like. Well, I mean, I can't wait to
Well,
run
that's
this.
every
There's this Stone Age game. I'm thinking of running. There's no doors. It's just like old. So like, go on.
I've got one callback for you, Clark. So, remember I said that you can start recording right away. So for that scene with the mimic underwater,
Yeah.
I filled my bathtub. I took a GoPro. I put the GoPro in there, started recording, and then I threw pennies and nickels and dimes in there to simulate arrows going into the water.
It's so cool.
So I got extremely wet doing the sound for that particular scene, but it was so much fun. And
He
I
also
did
got water on himself.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I should have. I'm just going to go back to my beverage.
It's
Sorry.
okay. It's okay. Somebody said it because a lot of us were probably like,
Phrasing.
Phrasing.
Sense of humor, yeah.
yes, yes.
So you guys have played in a lot of different systems on your channel. Because I think I've seen the Ether Reich,
Yeah.
the Electric City, no, Electric State.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what system it was. I just remember the intros because it was like
Brindlewood Bay, yeah.
Brindlewood Bay.
Mhm.
I have never been so excited to watch an intro every week. To see what little Easter eggs are hidden in that intro. Because every time it just gets a little bit more fucked up each time. And I absolutely love it.
I had so much fun making, because I'm not a video guy, so that was kind of stretching the sound stuff and the video stuff to try to make it work. So I did buy some music from Epidemic Sound just for that tune, which was perfect.
Oh, it's so good.
And I got some stock video that worked really well, and just jumping all those little jump cuts and overlays and stuff like that. I had so much fun making those and just like giggling to myself. Oh, this is super fucked up.
It was
awesome.
so
I just
good.
love, like, wait, he's like,
Thank you.
here's
Thank
next
you.
week. So I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if I can like repeat that. I was so, because Brindlewood Bay. The what inspired me was when you start playing the game, you're just really old ladies. You're solving murder mysteries, but as you play the game itself gets weirder and inches more like Cthulhu-esque type stuff. So that was my whole inspiration for making, starting up like the first one is like straight from a TV show, about old ladies, and then as the murders start to happen, as like the weird cultists start coming in, I'd amp it up a little bit. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching those. That's
Absolutely.
I had a lot of fun.
And then also another one that I really liked, because after we were on your show the last time, you were telling me about the Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one. After I watched that one, I was like, I need to figure out when we're gonna run one of these. It looks like so much
Aliens,
fucking
so-
fun.
Aliens,
It's-
awesome.
So yeah, it's awesome. That's a really they did a really good job. on
Apparently,
that
the
system.
new. Yeah, apparently the second edition one. In fact, we just did an interview with someone who they said if they were running a campaign, they would use the new rules. If they were running like a one shot or a short
You'd run
shot,
the old rules, yeah.
sort of cinematic, they would want the old one because I guess there's been some reduction in the consequence on the stress. But
Yes.
for us, I mean, it can be a little much. But I would always tell people that Alien's such a cool game because in most games, you roll up a character and then you get more powerful. You level, you get more powerful. In Alien, your character starts the best it's ever going to be on minute one, and
Yeah.
it's all downhill.
Oh.
All downhill.
Everything in the cinematic scope, not a
shaky,
campaign. Right. Everything is falling apart. And kind of like the movies. If you
That's
watch
exactly,
movies, everything's together. Everyone's a great Marine. Nothing's going to happen, right? And then by the end, it's like nuke it from orbit, right?
And I think it was really, that's what I loved about it the most, is that it really captured, that's something that really did a really good job of that. They captured that feel of the movie and how it is. And that was one thing about, even with Blade Runner, which I played. I really like the way they did that, because that was the same thing. I mean, you're not playing a replicant, you're playing a Blade Runner, but it was that same sort of like procedural thing in some ways, with the tension and the building and trying to figure out how I can pull this all off in time and capture these, and catch up with these guys and so forth. And it did really feel much like both those movies that have come out, as far as what you were doing, because you can play, because this starts at the time period of the last movie, but it's sort of like, it's very interesting. And they do a really good job as far as the mechanics of those systems to make them like that. I am very curious to see what the replicant size will look like.
Yeah.
As far as the Replicant Rebellion book that just came out.
That came out. Because, one, think about it, it's like, because the system is like, well, Blade Runner is very procedural. You have your cops, you're basically Blade Runners looking for rogue replicants. Even if you're a replicant yourself, you're looking for rogue replicants, which causes a sort of dichotomy. It's a very interesting social sort of social sort of exploration in that I think some people may miss, but I think everyone, if they really look at it, will understand what it is, will get it. And it's very interesting and very cool. But it's still very procedural. Like, I have to know what time I'm going to be doing this thing, and how I'm going to fit in, doing that interviewing, checking the forensics, and pulling this data, and looking at this evidence. It all is very that. While the Replicant Revolution is all a bit sort of like more like your sort of cyberpunk. So like, we're hiding out. We need to find, what we can do, what actions or operations we can pull off, or jobs we can pull off as the heat continues to rise in the street. Like, basically, there's a whole entire meter that determines how active the Blade Runner unit in your area is looking for you, and it's really cool.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see how that's going to work. But one thing that
wasn't
really
need to be human and all that.
Oh, that's a very and like, there's even I don't want to talk about it. It's like almost like a spoiler, but there's even situations where you can when you make your character in the game, because they have pre-mades and you can make your character. There can be a point where you can just say, I don't know if I'm human or not, if I'm a replicant or not. So basically, you just sort of leave that up to the GM, and you just play the game, and you may find out later on that you are a replicant, which is really cool, because it adds that bit of tension.
I like
that. You don't
that.
Yep.
And so, and I thought they just did a really good job of taking that movie and that's just movies and giving you that really good feel. And Aliens, they did a fantastic job at that as well. And
Free really does really well with third party IP.
They do really well with third party IP.
They've done a really good job. I'm a mechanics guy for games. Like, I'm very interested in the mechanics. I think it's important that the mechanics should support the feel of the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you want a crazy kind of like over the top game, you have rules that allow for you. You wouldn't want to have an over to the top crazy kind of game set in like a super deadly set of rules, right? And I think Free League's done a great job. Like we said, with the Aliens, they captured the right thing. The Blade Runner, the Twilight 2000 adaptation they did really is oppressive, and the rules really lend themselves to running and playing in a game that has that correct sort of feel, whether it's super powerful, you're great, or you're worried that your next meal is a radiated fish, right? Whatever the swings are, right? They've done a very good job with it, and I think it's even with Dragonbane. I would say, like, if someone is looking for a super high powered, I want to jump off a tower onto a dragon's back and beat it to death with my stay with 5e. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. But if you're looking to, right. And if you're looking for something a little darker, a little grittier, a little scarier, then things like Shadow Dark and Dragonbane and other games are good. And Savage Worlds is somewhere in the middle of
Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds is like I said, is a game that you build on. It has, like I said, very very player friendly base rules, but you can always take out pieces and parts of it And they can, like, for instance, Savage World Deadlands feels very different than Savage World Horror or Savage World, science fiction or Supers. Like, Supers has a whole entire book which is completely different. That goes sort of layers on top than the basic rules than like Horror does. Like, Horror takes these things away. Their fantasy thing is like, we're going to add these things to make this they're really good. So it's a good system. It's now becoming my sort of like do everything in this system kind of system. Sort of, not perfect, but it's good enough. But it doesn't require to be as nowhere near as crunchy as GURPS. So I'm like, I like that.
That's what horror has always kind of been about. Whenever I try to use horror in D&D, is that I have to find ways, both mechanically and narratively, to make these players that have built their characters to be as close to God as they can get feel like they can't use these tools or they won't work. I have to like mentally dismantle them to do horror within D&D because they're too goddamn strong. I need them to forget.
Well, another thing is like I found it very useful. Is like you look at other systems and see like Matt's talking about mechanics to do things. See what mechanics can be used to create that sort of fear, that tension, the things like it's like
Yes.
you will you're under the power of fear, but what if I make that fear have this consequence and this consequence? So me failing a fear roll and someone saying, I'm going to use such and such to restore you, while I'm in that fear, it's like, oh, you can't move or something. It's like, it's got to be a lot worse what happens to me.
It's got to
and
be
then even
worse.
when I recover, I don't necessarily get it all back. And that makes the things like that creates fear. We need to make that a priority to take out now. We have to try and get to it now. Even though it's this little kid in a nightgown carrying a candle, we've got to take that freaking kid down.
I think we're traumatizing the one player in the group here. I think this is maybe too much insight into the twisted minds of GMs and how much we enjoy punishing players.
On the other side, there is ways you reward your players. That not necessarily that are not necessarily like, for instance, yes, you've got another
reward players. What's
but it's
that?
like magic items.
But it's
Who
like
gives out magic items?
But it's like
he has a patron. His patron has literally given him a
is this
living
a sorcerer
shadow.
patron or just like kind of
Warlock patron?
That's not the same.
Warlock.
I'm talking about
So,
you can
It's
have
not the same.
You can have a war. Look, okay. I'll be honest. You have a warlock patron is not a patron. Warlock patron is like your friend, the landlord. No.
I've made plenty of sacrifices. I've made plenty of sacrifices for the things that I have.
He's got his little soul stamp card. Okay, he's
you got
reaching his little.
You're gonna get a whole blessing next. You're gonna hold the witch bolt next week if you continue.
He's gotten some cool shit. He's gotten homebrewed spells from it. He has a living shadow that's almost like like a familiar or a companion that's attached to him.
Is it
and
nice
it's
to have?
almost like
Or does it sneak around
it's
doing
like
stuff?
It's like a living, breathing like cloak of protection.
So that's nice.
super cool.
Okay, all right.
I
That's
love
nice.
the Warlock class, by
Okay,
the way.
you're giving some nice stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying,
I'm nice.
sometimes
I do nice
you have to
things.
you
I
have
didn't
to,
say
for
you
instance,
don't do nice things.
It's like for instance, you have to make note of like these players have done this, and they have, and like if there isn't a mechanic, like for instance, like D&D doesn't have, at least I don't recall them having a mechanic. I could be completely wrong. A mechanic for your reputation of who you are, giving you a baseline bonus.
Well, yeah, you just gotta.
That's like
You gotta
folklore.
put
Exactly. You have to. That's the reward you sort of give. That's not necessarily there. Or access to people, or a network of individuals they can be in contact with to do fences, to talk about certain things, to get information from. That could literally be a reward, but it's not the same thing as like I got a +1 dagger, as opposed to I know now the thieves on Morrow Street who can tell me things about this section of the city of Mask that I can go to, and on a good roll, I can get that. And that's not necessarily a same thing as reward, but it does function as a reward as far as expanding what my character can do. So even my low level character now has something that's really pretty awesome, or my high level character has something that's pretty awesome that I may not use it immediately or even really anytime soon. There's gonna be a time I'm like, we need to get to this city and get out of here. know what? I can talk to the guy. I can talk to this guy. Make a persuasion roll, convince him to, I make it at an advantage or something, or maybe I just automatically have this favor. Like in my campaign I'm working on right now, it's going to be a military-based game. They're playing soldiers. So what are the favorite cards that I can give them? It's like, well, a guy in logistics who can get some shit for you. You know someone in military intelligence who may give you more information about the drop you're going on that you normally would have gotten in your normal sit rep. And that's the kind of thing like sort of becomes a reward for their actions or becomes a thing. And it's not necessarily a real mechanic that is actually there. I mean, you can buy allies, but this is a very temporary, quick thing you can get that makes the player says, I've done something, I got something for it. Or they could even expand it. They're like, I'm going to actually get this, this one favorite card to become an actual ally. So I have that logistic guy there. I have that tech.
Okay, hold on. We got to.
Sorry.
So
poor Nathan's holding his hand up.
Yeah, my arm's getting tired. So going back to the whole shadow companion thing, I love rewards that have like a have a drawback. Yeah, yes, exactly. Thank you, Matt. So he knows. So like if I
there's no real reward from Nathan.
The rewards they're just
compromises
there's
in
side
your
effects.
joy.
So like if I had given you a shadow person, that shadow person, like when you slept, it would go and do shit.
You notice how I asked the question? You notice I asked the question. Is it do stuff behind him? Because that's what he does.
Yeah, Listen, if you walk through a store, you would have extra stuff in your pockets after going.
It doesn't do anything that.
Oh, see, you're missing out on great
it does
story enhancement.
It does do certain things because it's almost like I gave this shadow exists. It was his shadow in the first place. It was just given life. So the shadow is trying to emulate whatever he is. So it doesn't even have a vocabulary when it was born.
Exactly,
it can only repeat things that it heard, and it's building its vocabulary from things that he said. And it's also like learning from him and his mannerisms. So if he's evil, it will become evil. If he's good, it'll be good.
So it doesn't resent him in any kind of way.
Nathan's will resent
him.
It will resent him if there's a stark change in behavior that it can't justify from what it was taught before.
I'm just saying, there's other options there. That,
we can't even get a beast of burden being
spice.
So what you're talking about is I do that, except for I do that with magical drugs. So
space dust.
We did we had a in the most recent arc of our campaign. There was it was more of like a vampire arc. It was like a whole underground city. It was like a cyberpunk style underground city with like giant panels on the ceiling that made it look like the sky. And there was a vampire bar where they had these kind of like red crystals, and they were like crushing them up and kind of like just using them as drugs. And I know the players at my table. I know Terry specifically, and I know that
I mean, like literally, I just went to this one episode. I'm like, why are you going to put that fruit in your mouth?
Yes, the memory fruits. He couldn't stop.
I'm like, what are you doing? It was like,
but I never tell them the negative consequences. I only tell them about what happens when they're doing it. So at the time he did it, it gave him boost to perception, because I was like, what would cocaine do in a magical setting? So you feel great. You have more energy, boost to perception, boost to initiative. You feel a little bit stronger. But then when he came down from it and the negative effects, all of that is now in the inverse. And now I made them do constitution rolls at the end of it to see if you would want more.
Oh,
quick.
Nice.
First one's free.
First one's free. Oh my god.
First one's free. And because of his connection to pretty much like the main like narrative through line through the story, which is like they're trying to help this god retain all of his like former versions of himself to like piece himself back together. Because of his connection, those crystals were connected to like the anger version of that god. So now he has two conflicting gods inside of his head, and it
Oh
became
my gosh.
an entire part of the narrative because he was kind of hulking out anytime he'd give into like those base anger like natures.
Notice
It's-
response from Nathan. Yay! I'm like, no.
That's awesome.
It was
awesome.
really fun, and
You didn't force it down his throat. Like you
No.
just give them the tools to screw themselves, and
Sometimes
the
those tools are
players
the
will
only way we're
provide.
going to get out of that room, and then it's like, oh yeah, we got these tools now forever because it's bonded to your.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
He
That's
didn't,
good stuff.
keep it forever.
It was great.
We had to extract it from him. So
Yeah, that's good.
literally extract it from him
Oh.
because there's certain drugs that like kind of like live in your spinal fluid, so you
Ooh.
got to get all of it out.
spinal
Get
tap.
all of it.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
I do like that
Fun
idea. In your spinal fluid.
Next week on our actual play, the intervention episode.
That's exactly what it was.
Bring the pump and the needles.
Hey,
That's-
why is everyone
actually-
here? What are the NPCs doing here?
It became comical because I spent an entire session putting little inconveniences in his way and making him roll to see if he could keep his cool. Like they were in a hotel and they rolled to see how good their rooms were going to be. No matter what he got, his room was going to be shit anyway. And he tried to take a shower, the
Oh,
knob broke,
man.
sprayed him in the face. He tried to open the window. It was like one of those cartoon things where he opened the window, it's just brick wall.
Right.
He broke the wall to the bathroom. And that was
Oh,
Nice.
And the
That's
whole
good
time,
stuff.
there's a little angry voice at the back of his head, just like, they gave you this room on purpose. They fucking hate you. Everyone hates you. You're a piece of shit. And he's just like, ah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
It
so
was-
much fun.
a great time.
Oh shit. I love that. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
But what I wanted to ask was like, what were some of your favorite TTRPGs that you guys have tried
Yes,
on the
what are
show?
systems. I was going to ask that for sure.
Mm.
Like, which,
Nat, why don't you go first?
So favorite systems on this show. I would have to say a tie between Aliens and Twilight 2000. And then short form, I kind of thought that Eat the Right was a very creative system for such a small like Zine book. I thought it had a very interesting system of how you approach encounters. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it like you have like there's like two sets. There's like a challenge and then like enemies, and you can do anything. The players can do anything if they can justify with their skills, and you kind of fill in those challenges as you go on. And I thought that was cool because I think you could take that system and apply it to any genre or kind of setting. Like, I thought it was really cool. But no, Aliens and the Twilight 2000, I still have the original. So I played the original Twilight 2000, and I thought they did a great adaptation. And I thought it kept that sort of awful, slow, the world is dying sort of thing and kept it alive. And I would say we played it short form, but I'll shout out to Dork Day. They did a great Twilight 2000.
160 some odd episodes.
Yeah. And it's
wow.
bleak. The whole thing's bleak. And so there's mine.
And we're going to go back to it eventually. I have a second season planned for that. But,
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So for me, I think Alien also, but Mothership. I am completely in love with Mothership. I could play Mothership, like I'm down to play Mothership anytime. It is so like great to run as a GM. I have yet to be a player yet. I would love to be a player. But as a GM, it was so easy to run. There's lots of levers to pull. The books themselves are actually really well laid out, and even if you've never played you've never run any TTRPG and you're thinking about running D&D or whatever, I would still look at the Mothership GM's guide. I can't remember what it's called, but it has so much good advice on how to build encounters and how to run a game. It's just very, very well written. That's why I went and bought this as soon as it came out.
Okay. Nice.
For me, the two that we played on the show, it was actually Brindlewood Bay and Dragonbane.
Okay.
Brindlewood Bay, I like. I mean, it's powered by the Apocalypse. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's a powered by system. There's so many different ones I played. Like I played another not on the show, like Monster of the Week and other things. But I really like the way that it introduced me to a way of thinking of mysteries, of thinking of. I mean, that was always the biggest problem is when you build a mystery and role-playing game, you had to have so many redundant clues, so much overbuild because you don't know where players are going to go to solve your particular story, your particular mystery. And this one took the whole entire thing, threw it out, and had a new way of doing it where you're sort of like, as they're finding clues, they're developing what the mystery is. We know what the crime was, and how do we get there? They're going to come together. They're going to gather clues, and they're going to come up with it. And if they do a good enough job, they'll do the story. And I love that concept of it, how it works. The mechanics of it was really interesting, and there's a lot of fun sort of exploring this sort of like little old ladies trying to figure out murder mysteries like Murder, She Wrote as Cthulhu slowly begins creeping into town.
Ooh.
And it really leans hard into that whole entire like 80s, little murder mystery old lady show. At the same time, having this creeping cult slowly building up and intruding, and things you're crossing is showing you that there's a darker world out there constantly becoming, more of an issue for your little town. Dragonbane, it was just like a really interesting, fresh take on a fantasy setting, and I'd say that the setting is like really extensive, but just the way you played a fantasy game. Having played D&D, having played GURPS fantasy, having played the Dungeon Fantasy version, having played
so many fantasy,
so many different fantasy games. It was a nice sort of refresher to remember. Like your characters are comparatively very basic to other systems. And right now, like looking at D&D, they're much more simpler as far as their makeup than D&D. The advancement, which was one thing that was like in some games I've played, if people have had a problem with it, was like the advancement was you didn't jump like huge levels, so there wasn't giant, because one thing it wasn't a big huge sort of like I've got to learn a lot of stuff because I've now moved to this level. It was like I'm going to choose what I want and slowly grow expand my character growth. That's one thing I loved in other games, but it's much simpler. It's very simplified and easy to do in Dragonbane. So as you got experience, you were able to quickly sort of look over your options and see your character grow. And not, it's one thing like I had other players in my other local group, because some of them were first time playing D&D, was they were completely just baffled each time they went up a level. It was like, I can roll my hit points. And they would just stare blankly if they had spells or whatever. They're like, I have to have new abilities. I have to figure out what I'm going to do. And they'd be paralyzing. Like, I can now do that and that and that and that. And what can I do at the same time? And I was like, and I kept thinking, like, when I recently was playing, Baldur's Gate 3, I was like, gee, I wish I had one of these wheels for my players. So you're like, this is your wheels. Here, that was all. I was like, that'd be great. I'm like, if someone comes up with that little wheel thing, it'd be so much easier, because that is the thing that paralyzed a lot of players per level, and they began to resent going up levels. Like they wanted to be able to do more things, but resented having to do all the sort of, they consider the paperwork of trying to figure out what they're doing. And
as a magic user, I can see that.
Yeah,
I
was like for a magic user, and and it was just, it was just like, do I get new spells and when can I use it? And it was like, don't worry about it, it's okay. And the thing is, like with Dragonbane, its expansion works very differently. You're adding on like, I'm getting this one more ability or more talent, or if I'm adding another spell, that spell just does this, and that's what I can do, and it's all good. It's nothing. It's very different.
And it's very skill based, So you're really most time you're just maybe leveling up skills.
Yeah.
Unless at the end of it.
And leveling up of skills just happens, like it can either happen randomly, like if you fail the skill. Does it fail?
Critically fail.
If you critically fail or
critically succeed or
critically fail a skill, that skill will go up, will advance. Or at the end of the adventure, you can
Maybe.
say, we did this, like Power of the Apocalypse does. And then you can spin those things to do. And that's one thing I liked about Power of the Apocalypse as well, as far as its engines, is like, there is a lot of games where if you fail a roll, you're learning, and therefore you get experience for it. Which is one thing that that teaching certain players, there is a failing forward that doesn't come easy. It doesn't happen in D&D very often. Because in D, it's like, how much I make my success roll by, and if I fail, then I fail. But what do I get out of that failure? You just failed, or something bad happened. You don't learn anything from it. And these are other games where
it's like in Kids on Bikes, you get adversity tokens, and then you use your adversity tokens let you use those little like pocket abilities that you pick during your character building.
And I think
which is what I like. It lets the players take more swings because they're like, oh, if I fail, I get an adversity.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are like they're like I had some players who were afraid, not in the podcast, but in my local group, because I have a lot of them like almost like it's half new, half experienced players, and a lot of them were like really just afraid to fail. And I was like, it's okay to fail, and breaking
it's fun to fail.
It's fun to fail. And like in D&D, it's like when you it can be. It's a lot of times some of the funniest things you guys have done, you've encountered, have been when we fail.
Yeah.
And removing that fear of, if I fail, it may go badly, but let's see what kind of story comes out of this. What's going to bloom, or what may change my character's direction because of this failure? Hopefully, it won't be as bad as GURPS, where you're losing a hand or something, maybe, or Harn, where you're losing an eye and half your skull. But
turn into a bear.
Turn to a that did happen in Dragonbane. You can turn into a bear and wasn't able to talk to everybody for a couple of days. But that's just things happen. But it's a very different it was
okay.
When you see it, it's hilarious. But those are my two systems.
We have like kind of a thing that we do on the show whenever we do the final question. We're gonna have to do these one at a time.
Okay.
So if you go last, you get more time to think about the answer. But it's definitely one of the favorite. Like it's a highlight of the show for us because
for sure.
It gives people a chance to like really talk about something that they don't really get a chance to talk about often. And if we just want to start like top of the line,
You start with Matt.
who wants to go first? Yeah, everyone wants to start with Matt.
Yeah.
Sure.
What is something that you wish people would ask you about more?
That you don't
Something that
normally
you
get to talk
don't-
about.
You don't normally get to talk about as much as you want to, but if somebody opened that door, they're in for a good solid hour.
Oh man, here we go.
Wow. So good thing we led with the introvert. I think it's this. I think it's I often am in situations where my wife will tell me like, oh, why don't you go hang out with like the other like soccer dads or whatever, right? And I'm always like, well, I'm not a sports ball guy, right? I'm not a car guy, right? So often I'm like, well, they're not gonna want to chill out and talk about saving throws and game mechanics. But that's my jam. I could, without any other responsibilities, as I had done as a young person, stayed up in a Denny's all night long to discuss the campaign that we played all night previous and go home at the sunrise. So
man.
I genuinely love this hobby.
Oh boy.
Hell yeah.
He said,
Hell
"Oh,
yeah.
boy."
No, I'm just like I wish I could say something different. But yeah, it's this hobby and being able to talk about it. I mean, there are books that I can get excited about. Obviously, that for things will be media that we watch, but most passionate about role playing. I mean, just to give you an idea, I mean, a part of me doesn't want to admit it, but I think I do probably have some sort of addiction to it. I'm right now in the podcast running a game. I am running a local game. I was playing another game another day. When I lived in DC, it was like I ran 2 games. No. ran 2 or 3 games, at least two games during a week and 1 game a month, and was still trying to build other games. And I'm right now currently doing something similar. Like I'm running a game. I'm running Supers, which is my big game for the which is a superhero game we're using in Savage Worlds called Infamous Heroes. We're working on. It's gonna be really excited about that. I am also running a Shadow Dart game from a local group. I am building a military science fiction game called Battle Dress Diaries, which I'm working on for them. I also plan on converting these other things, and I can talk about these games. I can talk about mechanics. Like literally, it was very important to talk about how this mechanic works and how this game gets the right tone if that's the game you want to run. Or like, for instance, like if you're looking for something like, I want to run this, and this. Well, you need to check this book out, and this book out, and they may have the right rules. It may not be in your system, but you can figure a way to convert it to D&D if you want to, or you can figure a way to convert it to to Dungeon Fantasy or to Traveler if you want to include that. And just because there's a lot of good stuff out there. And one thing I can say right now is that while we all are looking at D&D as the big Coca-Cola, there are 1,000 of really good drinks out there that are being made. A lot of little local sodas, small sodas that are really good and that are really just the right flavor for you, and you just need to be able to do it. Not saying, you should don't do what I did and abandon D&D for a while. I haven't. I mean, literally, I bought the French version of it. I went and got Fate Forge and bought the whole entire Fate Forge, which is like done by, I think it's a French company that did it. Awesome game world, still based in 5th edition. Bought the whole entire the 5e version of, the One Ring. So if I want to do Lord of the Rings, I'm probably going to do it in 5e, which is kind of weird. Never thought I'd do that. But I'm just saying, there are a lot of systems out there that can offer things to you and that you can use. And, with D&D, there's a lot of things that are in 5e that are great, but I love talking about role-playing games. Sorry, Nathan. I'm going to go on forever.
Oh, no. That's
great.
I listen to you talk for like hours and hours and hours a week, so more than anybody alive. So you're good.
Thanks.
I don't want to give away why we asked the question yet until Nathan goes, but after that, I will. I'll lower the curtain a little bit.
Okay. So for me, I really like talking about the audio stuff and especially sound design, which I think I use the word sound design differently than a lot of people in podcasting. I think of it as actually making new sounds. And I think in podcasting, it's usually more of like, okay, you're doing the sound for the podcast. It's this music and everything. I like making new sounds. I record stuff. Outside, indoors.
Never mind.
So it's a handheld recorder.
Okay,
so
sorry.
portable.
I thought it was something different.
I thought that was a taser.
Me too. I was like, what the heck was that?
So
He likes to record sounds of people being tased.
Don't tase me, bro.
That's his real passion.
I just, I've always been like kind of a technical guy, so I like the technical aspects of what do I need to do to the sounds I record to make them sound like, how do I make somebody sound like they're talking in a cave versus talking outdoors, or sound like if you're like punching a mimic underwater, what does that sound like? And so I like to think of the whole space, and I can't always pull off what I'm going for, but my intention is really trying to create a space. So I would love to talk about the process that I'm going through as I'm like kind of teaching myself this. So
talk about it with me.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to. And so much I've actually.
But you did record something.
So through the Alien game, a professional sound designer who actually does some work at Skywalker Ranch listened to our Alien show, and we've become friends. He gave me a tour at Skywalker Ranch,
Nice.
which is fucking awesome. It was really like the highlight. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so that was like amazing. So I'm asking him questions, but I'm trying not to kind of like just like
Nerd
every
out.
day. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? Because that's what my impulse is. I want to, because that's what I wanted to do as a career, and it just I was like too good at making kids, so.
They're really great kids.
Out for me.
They're really great kids. They're really
great kids.
kids.
They're totally worth it.
They were totally worth it.
Tossed out my dreams, and
I
just
really
like,
think
Dad.
that's great. We should, as a father, I can completely be right there for you. You can hear it in my voice.
But no, it's like from Star Wars on, it's just like the idea of like how Ben Burt made the lightsaber and R2D2 and the Chewbacca's language and Darth Vader's breathing and all those kind of iconic sounds. It's like somebody came up with that and used all the tools at his disposal, plus like an amazing brain to create these new worlds from the sounds that he did. So I'd like about like 1% of that capability. So
and because of like Nathan's things,
one.
it's so really weird that Nathan like has these like video. Like, occasionally he'll do a video and talk about some sound design. I'm like, I know nothing about sound design. But I have started slipping into it. Like literally, I sat there I just sat there and watched the whole entire video about a guy making the sound for this. It's my favorite sound in the Empire Strikes. Second favorite sound in the Empire Strikes Back. It's when the hyperdrive fails in the Millennium Falcon and how that was layered and how that was built. I was like, this is the most brilliant thing ever. My favorite sound is just the sound of the walkers, which is like this press machine. I don't do sound design. This is his fault. I was just like, I don't care about the sound. I'm like, well, I do like the thing, and he just got me. Yeah, but.
So that's why, right there, is why we asked this question. Because there's a certain thing that gets conveyed whenever somebody gets to talk about something that they are truly passionate about. And
joy.
it doesn't always have to be what they're talking about, it's how they're talking about it. That spark that they get in their eyes, that passion that conveys the idea behind it, and it makes you want to look into whatever it is that they're talking about. Because you're like, if they care this passionately about it, it has to be interesting. It has to be good. Yep. Like, I'm convinced.
Maybe
that's why it's our favorite.
I could like feet. I'm like really into feet. Maybe
it might get me halfway.
Get out of here.
Okay. I'll meet you at the knee.
Way to make it awkward.
That's my superpower is making things awkward.
Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
Oh no!
What a wonderful thing! Oh.
Okay. Well, we gotta land the plane. You all have all of the time in the world to tell us about all the projects that you have coming up or anything that you have coming up personally. The time is yours. Go ahead. Tell the people where to find you.
Let me take this one. So the AARPGs.com is our website. We've got all our made up bios and our podcast and link to our YouTube. YouTube is at the AARPGs. We've got Twilight 2000 on there, 2 Alien campaigns, Battlelords. Now I said I was going to take it. Now I screwed it up.
I was like, "There's a whole entire D&D campaign that I'm mentioning
yet." Two campaigns of D&D, which are Sex, Drugs, and Saving Throws. Super funny. The worst characters ever. So these are not heroes. These are anti-heroes.
My character is not bad at all. I'm quite exemplary.
No, it's a lie.
I'm the manager, so anyway.
My single favorite gaming moment in my entire gaming career was in that second season.
Oh,
it's good.
Yep.
It's really, really good. We can't talk about that favorite scene because this is a family show. But
I don't know about that now.
You give us too much credit.
Sex, Drugs, and Saving Throws. That's the title of the show. But anyway,
yeah.
So we've got a lot of variety content. We're 2 years into. We finished recording this about a year ago, but I'm still editing Dragonbane.
2 more episodes, right?
2 more episodes, so 49 and 50, and I've got them sitting right here next to me. I promise they'll be out eventually. We are recording Infamous Heroes, which is a Savage Worlds Super campaign that Malcolm is running. And this is Malcolm's long-term world that he's been building for, I don't know, like maybe 25, 30.
Yeah, these have been heroes that we played in many different game systems that have now been sort of, gathered together in one world to play in this game, to run in this game system. So it's like, so there's a lot of callbacks to a lot of our older characters. Some players remember. So.
Yeah. So this is a really well developed world that Malcolm's been feeding into, and some of the other players at the table. So that should be really fun once we start releasing those. I'm not sure when those are going to come out. Probably. Let's say fall is when we're going to release those. But we've recorded like over 10 to 12 episodes already at least. Eventually I will come back to Twilight 2000. So I've got ideas for that. But expect more live shows in the summer as people's lives get crazy and we can't get everybody together at the same time. So live shows from us.
Gen Con.
Oh, Gen Con. Oh, yeah, we're going to be at Gen Con, too. Matt and I, at least. So we'll be doing interviews there. And we, lots more interviews with more game designers and folks like you guys.
Lots of silver alerts.
We were on that.
Yeah. Yeah, come watch our interview with Chillin in the Party.
Yeah.
Yes. That was, I think that was the second interview that we had ever done. I think it was Al's first, and I think I had been on Sam's show before that. So, she's the best. She's the best. She's the reason I know anybody in this space. she pulled me up literally. She was like, "Hey, I'm going to introduce you to all the best people," and I was like, "Please and thank you. I appreciate that."
Shout out to
But you got us.
Yeah.
This is great.
You all are wonderful.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Amazing. We have the best taste in guests.
So do we. Yeah, it's great. We share that in common.
For sure.
Okay.
Oh man.
Okay.
Everyone's charming, beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Charming.
Some might say bear-like, but
Some would say bear-like. Oh.
I had to.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You
can catch us. You can catch us here for more interviews with all of our favorite people across the internet, and now some of your favorite people after you watch them. We do D&D stuff over on the other side of this channel. We do gaming stuff on the other side of that. It's more of a street than a channel. There's different houses on the road. Yeah, and then in the future, if maybe we can figure out how to schedule things, I have been reading through Fabula Ultima, and I'll be goddamned if I'm not going to do something with it. So this may be when I figure out how to do my Persona campaign. Maybe if I could just squeeze it in there. But that's besides the point. There's plenty of other things in the meantime, and plenty of other things coming up after this one. So, as always, all of our guest links are down in the description below. Also, their name is right next to ours because we do the collaboration link thing. So, if the subscribe button is white for you, it's because you haven't pressed it yet.
Do that.
Yeah.
Press the button.
Do that part.
Press the button.
But yeah, this has been amazing. This has been great. Please show them some love over on their channel. And then on the way over there, you can hit the like button on your way out. And we'll see you on the
Thank
next
you.
one.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for having us, guys. It was great.
Absolutely.